Okay, so why would we be more likely to find a Confederate flag at a GOP rally or at a GOP household if the parties didn't switch?
Well, you wouldn't, because the SPLC is going to be funding those agencies. That's why they funded, the Unite the Right. That's why we're finding out all sorts of other crazy stuff, all the time. That's why we had David Duke supporting the Clintons. That's why we have Richard Spencer saying he votes Democrat. That's why we have Nick Fuentes claiming that he's a Democrat. The party switch never happened. That's a lie. We could go into that, but that's not the topic of the day. That's something you can debate for hours on end.
What do you think? One day they were like, okay, let's switch now. All your positions, we're just going to switch them over, and we're going to take like. Does that sound realistic? Does that sound like something that happened?
What sounds more realistic? Their positions basically switching or evolving, or that all the people that lived in the southern states all moved to the northern states, and all the people in the northern states all moved to the southern states?
They moved to the urban areas. That's not true. What you're saying isn't true. The Democrats were the party. So you're saying Republicans weren't the party of Lincoln? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that that the southern states all voted for the Democratic Party.
Lincoln's your guy, not our guy?
I'm just saying that in order to effect the same change, you would have had to have all these people moving and swapping homes.
Yeah, people moved.
Yeah, who in 2026? Which party is saying who's going to pick our crops?
New York City.
Okay. I got more. I gotta get through them.
Demographic change in the last 20 years.
I gotta get through them.
Stay in school, kids.
General Grievous for $2.
That's the demographic.
What's your highest level of education, by the way?
Staying in school.
Okay, I gotta make money, gang.
Sure.
General Grievous for $2. Dragon Fist is fine with $300 billion to Iran. I don't think he is. $5 from Corneo. These conservatives are deeply unserious. Please find better guests.
Oh my God.
$5 from Trevekia. Does Admiral Gibbs and Dragon Fist feel Trump was properly allocating funds when proposing the $1.776 billion for the anti-weaponization /fund?
Every question is just what about isn't, what about isn't. If you want to have a debate on any of those issues, you could tell Mr. Wick. I'm sure Destiny and She's Right will come back and we could debate any of those issues. We're debating this issue, which is USAID foreign policy. So that's what
listen, I'm not despite my rep, I'm not a mad guy. I don't like that policy for the 1.76 trillion. That's a bad one. Not every policy is going to be one that I like. That's okay. I didn't like that one. Yeah, okay.
Which is Persona for $2. Link for the comics. Asking for a friend. I'll put it in my Discord. Scorned. Thank you for the 5-month membership. These people shouldn't be allowed to vote. Okay. $5 from It's Fishy. Makes claim, quote unquote. Show us. Dude, this is a problem. We don't know if it's true or not.
Can I get, why is it that all of those Confederate statues, I guess, were those all put up then by Democrats? Why is it the Republicans are the ones who always cry when they get torn down?
Tear them down. I don't give a shit. This is once again, this is we already caught the hold on, it's not crazy. I just brought this up. We just had congressional testimony that the SPLC was funding recruitment, flag burnings, and clothing for the KKK and the neo-Nazis. So yeah, I would say that secretly. Why? Well, allegedly it's for informers, but one of the bitches was sleeping with one of the.
She was banging the dude. I was just going to say that. She was
crazy. It's crazy that somebody that's so anti-racism would be banging King Dick racist. Doesn't make much sense there, unless liberals and leftists are the actual party of racism.
So that's not ideological motivation.
What he's saying. Like it is in 2026, they're still the same ones wanting to have a subclass to pick their crops. Who's going to pick our crops? You know who said that? 1860s. Guess who said that? The Dems. Crazy how that didn't really change.
Okay.
Crazy how all those leaders I mentioned.
Okay, you guys, this was like a $5 question, and you're giving like $50 answers. Yeah, $5 from Kyle Link. Awesome to see Dragon Fist has pivoted from karate to debate. I'm afraid of what any more karate chops to the head would do to him.
That would hurt.
$5 from Black Pilled Kiwi. You aborted a third of Gen Z? Should have been half. Okay. $2 from the Witch's Persona. She's right. Name checked out. Paul Cast 5 or 6 says government-funded transcomic USAID orgies for all. Okay. $10 from It's Fishy. What are your thoughts on OBA, OBBBA, and TCGA? He cares more about his minor funding compared to cuts to healthcare, Medicare, and ballooning our debt and deficit. You want to respond to that quickly?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've moved positions recently on some funding here. You know, now that we know how much fraud is going to all these programs in Minnesota and California, maybe if we restructured them and we looked at them, we could actually fund some of these things, maybe help Americans. But we won't know until we use Doge to gut out the fraud and all this other issues, and use the Justice Department to look into these corruption.
No, we'll get to it later, but
thanks for that, T-off. Appreciate it.
I'm really curious what if you think Doge was financially positive for us.
Doge has failed. Doge is done. I don't know why we're even pretending like anything different. But
what's the chick that's the oh god damn it, the press conference girl? What's her name?
Caroline Levitt.
Thank you, appreciate it. I don't know why I'm blanking, but Caroline Levitt just literally gave out a speech, like a point where she listed 8 things, like last week, about the Doge just cut. So they're still working. This is like a fake news thing that y'all keep doing, saying Doge doesn't exist anymore. They're definitely still doing things. Pete Hegseth also quoted Doge finding stuff recently. So I guess y'all are just making shit up.
Yeah, Doge was majorly disbanded. They're not really finding anything significant anymore. There might be some people working in departments doing ordinary cuts or whatever, but we were initially promised $2 trillion in cuts by Elon. Then that went down to $1 trillion. Then it went down to $100 billion. And then it kind of sort of ended up in them just cutting programs that they didn't like because they couldn't find any waste, fraud, and abuse, or they would just quote things from OAGs that had already found some, either wasteful spending or stuff that needed to be addressed. And then now we just have it as part of the government where every now and then they'll just say, well, if they fire somebody, we can give Doge credit for it, which is actually just retarded because these departments can take care of themselves. So I don't know why you would need to make another bureaucratic department to tell other departments how to spend their money. It sounds like the dumbest thing ever. It was dumb, and it continues to be dumb. And if it exists in any form today, it is probably definitionally waste, fraud, and abuse.
Okay. $10 from Lawson Harrison. Destiny and Alice should start a channel where they talk about ranching and martial arts so that these regards can understand the feeling. Okay. $5 from Keep Your Bill Steins. For our martial artist, how much did the USAID cut reduce the national debt? I should have expected it was a big amount. No.
Well, the national debt is, I don't know if this is a trick question. The national debt is not going down at all. It pretty much never gets reduced. We don't pay on the principle of it. This is a separate issue. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't cut things. Like we have to cut things to get to the point where it starts to come down, right? We have to spend less. Do you have another solution? People are saying like, we shouldn't vote. We're not even saying we want people to get hurt or we want to cut all aid or we don't want soft power. We're not saying any of those things. We're just saying, let's check. Maybe we can keep the AIDS prevention program and cut the DEI in Serbia. We're being reasonable.
The two easiest things are fully fund the IRS. Stop trying to gut it all the time. It's the only agency that actually makes money for the government. It's literally your IRS. And then get rid of the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That should massively decrease the amount of money that the government was making. So obviously we can't pay down our debt because we're not making any money.
You're agreeing with my premise that we have an existential problem here. So how we get to cutting, it doesn't matter. We have to cut. And if we have things that are wasteful, whether it's my interpretation of wasteful or your interpretation of wasteful, they have to be on the table at least that we can discuss them. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm not saying cut every program. That's not my position. I'm not defending domestic positions because that's not the prompt. But we can come back and talk about that another time. I'm sure there's many domestic programs that we can cut. But not one piece of evidence has been provided that any of these programs are helping anybody. It's just what you guys think they're doing. No direct evidence that the money's going where it's supposed to be going. I'm citing issues like California, where we see humanitarian programs where all the money gets wasted. Why would it be any different in sub-Saharan Africa? Only a moron would think it's going to run more efficiently over there.
$5 question, just FYI. Like you guys are giving
question over and over.
Yeah.
Impactcounter.com.
$5 from Benji Boy. To the crazy Republican, why do you think 32,000 is breaking the U.S. budget, but Republicans have tried trickle-down economics 4 times now? Please explain. Well, I think he just did. Echem for $5. U.S. debt is an existential problem. Given that, why not focus on closing the tax gap for $700 billion versus $125 million for USAID? Literally 5,600 times more effective.
Well, that's not the prompt. Like, I can only... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Greg Yo for $5. Why does Andrew keep claiming straw man when the other side is accurately summing up his points? Dead Dodger Jim for $5. Tell Purple Joker and Hat Guy in witness protection Did Trump save or waste money on the reflecting pool?
I would assume that he didn't save money. However, I wouldn't call having nice things in the Capitol a waste either. So, I mean, is it a priority for Papa Gibbs? No, it's not a real high priority. However, I don't really see the pennies that he spent on that as wasteful, and I would rather that go to that than I guess some comic in Peru. I don't really give a shit about the comic, but hey, let's let the fucking pool be nice. It doesn't help though the lefties over here making it worse by destroying it again after it just got fixed, but that's neither over there.
Not taking that.
No evidence of that.
$2 from It's Fishy. He needs to vote Dem if he's scared of debt. $5 from the average Jake. Steven Seagal Jr. must have lost all his bullshito fights. His brain damage is on full display. He never confirmed that the moon exists. Does it? Okay. $5 from Benji Boy. 11 of the last 13 recessions were started by Republicans. Since you care about the budget, I assume you are voting Democrat now. $5 from Stormwolf. So we care about cutting the debt. So we focus on 1% of the budget and vote for Republicans when Democrats always decrease the deficit. $10 from Pondering Politics. Does he disavow Trump now? Will he commit to voting for Democrats in the midterms and in 2028?
You want me to answer?
Will you commit?
I won't commit. I have to see who the nominees are. You know, Dems
Okay,
are
sure. Well, let me ask. What is one Democratic nominee you would vote for?
And don't say Graham Planter.
I'm not going to make a statement about a Democrat I would vote for at this time.
You can't.
I'll do one. I like Fetterman. Do you like Fetterman?
I do like Fetterman, but I'm still not. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. You can't think of a single Democrat you would vote for? Not one?
I just don't want to make the statement that I support any Democratic candidates without fully investigating. But Fetterman is reasonable, at least. Seems to be more reasonable.
Can I just real quick, because we keep saying this, so we can at least just look for PEPFAR. So Bush launched this in 2003, and then it was... Look at that. Bring this chart up. If we look at AIDS deaths in Africa or HIV deaths, AIDS deaths in Africa, you can kind of see pretty clearly, right, as it's capping out at, go figure, around 2003, and then for a year or two afterwards, and then they start to come down.
Is this the one you're sending me here?
Is it the link? Scroll down to, there's cute little lines or whatever.
Yeah. This?
Yeah, scroll down. Sorry, those aren't cute lines. Those are boring lines. There's your cute lines.
Oh, is this cute lines? I don't know what a cute line is.
That's a cute line.
Okay, it's a cute line. Got it. Okay, what are we looking at?
Well, so I mean, in terms of estimates, if you give credit to PEPFAR for the decrease in deaths here, right? People get up to 25 million lives here that are not dead, not people that aren't dead as a result of PEPFAR. So I don't understand why we keep saying it doesn't do anything. USA doesn't help. Nobody's doing anything to prevent deaths. We don't have any evidence of it preventing deaths. I mean, that's one we can go into. That's probably the largest program that people would say there, and it's another one that the Trump admin attacked.
So did we go in and inject these people with AIDS?
Hold on. In the chart, if you're looking at it, and you can pull it up by clicking the watch stream, it shows from about 2002 where they peak, and it starts dropping drastically till about 2022 where there's a short increase. And 2023 is the least, I guess the latest data we have. Destiny's argument is that this was credited to PEPFAR, that PEPFAR helped reduce these deaths. Is this evidence that this helps reduce deaths and helps people?
Listen, the problem is, once again, is this is no evidence this helps the United States. Y'all can argue, deaths is good, it builds goodwill, all these things. One, I got to be honest, unless we were the ones over there injecting these people with AIDS, I got the world's smallest violin here for them otherwise, because I don't care. Maybe I'll be the bad guy.
Of the 25 million saved, 7 million infants were prevented from acquiring HIV at birth.
It's sad.
Well, is it their fault? Is it the baby's fault when they die of AIDS?
No, it's not the baby's fault, but it's the parents' fault, and it's the government's fault. It's the government's fault. Do you disagree that their leadership and the people there that are exhibiting these behaviors and doing these things, it's their fault for engaging in these actions? Was it okay? And I think once again, I'm not going to bash the LGBTQ, right? But gay shower complexes where they had the bathhouses was credited back in the day with causing the spread of HIV among people. And originally, people were like, this is a very mean thing to say about it, but it's because the unprotected sex and the habits was spreading amongst this community, and once they had more sexual sexual education that slowed it down. I would argue, okay, hey,
Hold
it's
on, do you
still
think it
on
would be-
them. It's
it would
still
be
on them for
useful?
engaging in that behavior.
Do you
Is
think
it
it'd
not?
be useful to spend money on helping to give them sexual education?
No, because once again, that's going to give economic benefits and military power to countries that don't like us, and this goodwill is not being extended. They're going to be, oh wow, thanks
So
for the young
sexual education on safe sex for homosexuals is going to increase their military power?
And yeah, with your dying at 40 from AIDS, do you think you're able to fight longer than if you're healthily, if you're don't have AIDS at all? If you're homosexual and
PEPFAR was running for
Uganda?
20 years. Which one of these sub-Saharan African countries were going to war with us?
Well, we see Nigeria. Did Nigeria get any of it? Because we first fought in Boko Haram. We had a 6-country war that we were backing up Boko Haram with Chad and all these other countries. We're in Djibouti right now. We're sending people out. Like that's where AFRICOM is. There's a reason why we have AFRICOM.
Which one of these countries
Clearly,
are going to war with us?
I mean, none of them, but they could be going to war with our allies like Rwanda.
Okay.
Countries go to war. There was just the Great African War, the Great African War too. Was those things that happened? Yeah. Did we have countries that we were allied with in those regions to some extent? Have economic engagements with? Yes, absolutely. So it's not just directly us. So when you're saying, oh, let's give all this money to all these countries that are helping, you don't have any evidence this economically didn't help our enemies, which is much more likely it did help them to some capacity, especially when we were just giving this willy-nilly indiscriminately to mass populations.
Okay. $5 from Alishness. Wow. So not only is Trump failing on no new wars, but he also failed at being the amazing negotiator since he got bamboozled by Israel. He kinda sucks. Okay. $5 from Tyrion Grayman. Wick, can you pull up maritime traffic and zoom to the strait? We'll do it later. Not for $5, I can't. Okay. You gotta add a 0 there. $5 from Alishness. You changed Department of Defense to the Department of War. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Are you that naive?
It was after he was elected.
Okay.
It was.
I mean, yeah, true. Okay, real serious for 100 in Argentina money. I don't know how much that is. Yo, I'm Argentinian, voted for Milei, and Reddit mod Joker is straight up BSing. Argentina supports the Iran war and Israel diplomatically, but they never sent shit. We can barely finance ourselves.
I do have the quote on that, and I was mistaken. The quote was by analysts would have amounted to about 2 ships being sent. That is all.
Okay, so you basically made up a
No,
story.
I didn't make it up. I just was going off the quotes that I had, and I was incorrect, and I just admitted that I was incorrect, which was what the analyst said. So, like, hey, I'm not trying to sit here and lie in bad faith, like whatever. But Argentina is openly saying they would support, and I have their foreign minister on video. I can share it where he says that he would do any military support that we need if we asked.
Okay, $10 says Evil Elrond to say this isn't a forum for open discourse anymore. In my opinion, it's just platforming 2 liars and relying on Destiny to counter them. Just tell the MAGAs to self-delete and move on. This is silly.
I feel like she's right. It's covering more than I have.
Dude.
For the talking points.
Listen to that comment. Self-delete. What did we say? That's a lie. So we should self-delete. You don't
Well,
see
you
the,
said there was a transgender comic book. You said that quite a lot.
I thought it was a gay comic
when
book.
evidence brought to the-
So I should self-delete over it.
Well, no, but
It is
what
the
you
party of
asked was
tolerance.
what was the
Jeez,
lie?
man.
So I answered that question, and then you
Well, also the
retreated another
boat
question.
thing.
You do that
It's
shit
not
a
a
lot.
lie.
Well, that wasn't a lie.
Category
It is a
error.
lie.
It's not a lie.
It is a lie.
The
You
boat thing was
confidently
a
made a
lie.
claim you had no
Right.
evidence for whatsoever, and then you
Yeah,
talked
he
over.
pulled it up. He
and
found the
presented
comic book
evidence.
in Peru. He found the price of it. It's not a lie. You're just categorizing it differently and calling it a lie. That doesn't make it a lie.
It wasn't a transgender comic book.
Okay, what is a transgender comic book? What's the specific definition?
I don't know, bud. You brought up.
Oh, that's what I
the thing.
thought. Can we
Hold on,
keep
what would
going?
you consider a transgender comic book?
I don't know. I'm not the one miscategorize, like
If
trying
a
to
comic book
categorize
has
it
a
and call you a
killer
liar. I thought we could like give a little good faith here. Like it wasn't a lie.
If it was good faith, he would have researched it first.
Did research
wait.
it. That's why I have it written down.
You wrote down something wrong.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Okay,
be a lie
let
then.
me keep going. I'm going to do a couple more, then we're going to get back to the discussion, then I'll read the rest later. $10 from Real Serious to say, Wick, please tell Diabetic Joker he is absolutely lying. I'm Argentina, and the opposition here would have absolutely flamed him for that. Okay, fair enough. He did admit he was wrong. $10 from A Call 92. If these guys think Trump is our best option for president and Israel let him by the nose, shouldn't we accept our Jewish overlords? Seems they
No.
know better than our administration. Okay. With that, I guess this is to Destiny's side. How do you guys deal with this, right? Like when people will just what is a what is your best positive argument for USAID? Why should we have it?
For like an adult conversation, or for a conversation for retards? For an adult conversation, the United States is the world hegemonic leader. Like, and we have to have good relationships with a bunch of people around the world for a variety of reasons. We want them to be amenable to our culture, so that we get along better, so that we can make better trade deals, so that people are more likely to loop us in on intel-related stuff, whether that means catching terrorists or cooperating or being a part of things that we used to recognize, like Five Eyes or NATO or whatever. Like, having more cooperation with all these other countries where we're invested and interested in so many parts of the world is a good thing. And USAID is just like an easy freebie. It's just like a thing that you do that can give you a whole bunch of goodwill from other countries that are in dire straits in some ways, and it's not that big of an expense for us. So as long as we're not like breaking the bank doing this, and as long as we're not I guess like diverting money to terrorists, like it's just an obvious easy freebie gimme thing. It's like throwing money at an IRA or a 401k. Like, these seem like obvious investments, even before you get into the moral argument of we have had like such tremendous advancements in medicine and aid delivery and everything else. Why would we not, if we have the ability to invest in this, why would we not do this? And then on the other side, for the people that attack it, it's very obvious that they just take like a brain dead approach to like anything with the word trans, even if it's transgenic mice research, but there's nothing to do with trans people, or if it has the word DEI or anything even in it, even if it has nothing to do with diversity, equity, or inclusion, they just want to cut all of it because they're on some rampage with the government. But then they always cite that the reason why they want to do this is because of stuff related to the budget. But these guys are always voting for the largest spenders in all of U.S. history. Again, I can't take somebody seriously who says that Donald Trump has a debt that is like 1/3 of our current U.S. debt. We owe it to Donald Trump, but that the cuts to USAID were somehow necessary and somehow help the budget, especially when Trump is like on a rampage against all these programs anyway, right? When he talks about shithole countries and funding all these other things. Like, it's obviously, like, to anybody that's not retarded, it's obviously an intensely ideologically motivated thing. It has nothing to do with saving money or anything else. If it did, why the fuck didn't he cut it in term one, right? He was the president back then. He could have done the same fucking thing, but he didn't. These are all just worthless, empty talking points from worthless, empty talking heads that are just trying to like cut parts of the government because all they can do is destroy and they can't build anything.
Response.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty funny coming from someone who's a self-described liberal, a self-described progressive, which can only exist on the back of a strong conservative society. Like, exactly what you described, everything you just described is exactly what you're doing. And your position, again, a straw man of our position, because what you said was the same thing that I said, which is that
wait,
yes,
justify
there
that
might
first
be
part.
good programs there. We
What
need
does the
to make sure
conservative
they're
have to
not
do with
being
anything?
wasteful.
What does the
That's
conservative have to do with
same thing that
anything?
I said. You just said it and called me a retard.
Wait, what does the conservative have to do with
that
anything?
goes to show you can't even follow the conversation accurately.
What does the conservative have to do with anything in the beginning?
Call me a retard.
What is the conservative
I said
part?
the exact same thing as you.
What is the
exact same
conservative?
thing.
What does the conservative part at the beginning have to do with anything?
You're not because you said that all we can do is destroy things, when literally all liberalism is a cancer on conservatism. It can't exist on its own. There's nothing for it to make more liberal. Do you understand that concept?
No, because conservatism
for which to progress before you can have progressivism, right?
Tell me where our culture comes
or no.
No. Where does our culture come from?
You don't have to have a society to progress before you can progress.
Where does our conservatism does not give you a fucking society? What societies do fucking conservatism give us?
You have to have a society for which to progress to have progressivism.
No,
That's
shut the. I'm sorry. Am I arguing with Merriam-Webster right now and ChatGPT 2.5?
You don't understand this. It's fine. Here comes all the insults because you're
already. No, I'm asking you.
You're making my points for me.
Yeah, keep filibustering. Keep going. Hold on. Where does our culture come?
You are making my points. You're saying the exact same thing.
Keep filibustering.
The exact same thing I'm saying.
Yep. Where does our culture come from? Liberals or conservatives? Who makes the movies? Who makes the music?
Yes, there are definitely more liberals in Hollywood.
More? Like 99-1, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm not saying we need liberals and conservatives. I never said we didn't.
Who makes?
Again, it's a straw man.
Keep filibustering.
It's a straw man.
Keep filibustering. Who makes our money? What are our most prosperous cities?
Saying that it's a straw man is not a filibuster.
Keep filibustering. Who are our most prosperous cities?
Is it the red? Straw man. I'm not defending that argument.
Keep filibustering.
How is that a filibuster? I'm responding.
Where is all of our money made? Where does our economy come from in the United States?
Can we stay on the prompt here? If you wanted to have another debate, okay, because you have to.
I'm good. I'm satisfied with the answer.
You're making my points for me. Literally, I'm debating you. I'm debating the moderator. I'm debating the chat. I'm debating Google.
There's a reason.
Retard, as you make my points.
Well, there's a reason why we're having mass migration to places like Texas, like Wall Street becoming a thing, because terrible Democrat policies are pushing economic prosperity.
Hold on, Admiral Gibbs, where are you from?
I'm from Texas. Obviously.
Where are you from? What city?
I live in, technically I live in a small ass town, but I live in San Antonio.
Okay, you live in a small ass town outside of San Antonio. Do you think that people that are moving from San Francisco to fucking Austin are moving to Texas?
I would say, yeah, they're moving to Texas for the economic boom.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah.
It's fucking retarded. It's the gayest. It's like the second gayest city on the fucking in the United States of America. You're telling me all these people that are moving to Texas. Nobody's moving to Texas. They're moving to fucking Austin, bro, which is San Francisco light. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, they want to come to Texas for all of our conservatism. My God.
Sure. Hold on. Well, how come San Antonio is also one of the biggest leading cities in the United States right now, like for growth? How about Houston and Dallas?
For growth? Because when you start with a population of 57,000, you can only go one direction, which is up. Congratulations.
You know, San Antonio is like the 15th biggest city in the United States. It's like a massive city, over 2.8 million people.
Nice.
Yeah, so good try there. Yeah, I mean,
San Antonio, is that a red? Hold on, is that a red city or a blue city? Just curious. There are a lot of conservatives.
Sure, blue city.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Gotcha. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hold on, but that's like once again, you're talking about the
all
city
liberals.
making
All
money, but who's making the
liberals.
money
All
in the city?
liberals.
It's not liberals.
It
It's
is.
not liberals. So Elon Musk is a liberal now?
He was, didn't he hate Trump and everything before Trump got into office? He had to suck up to him to get funding for all of his stupid projects, right?
So, well, then why do you all hate him now? So it's either he's a liberal or he's a conservative or he's on the right lean. I agree that he's a populist, right? I would agree with that sentiment. But like the point is, they vote red right now.
You agree that we shouldn't be wasting money
on
on like South African refugees, right? That's like a total waste of money, right?
Sure, I agree with that.
Okay,
yeah.
kind of weird that Elon Musk was pushing Trump for that, and now
Well, I mean, we know why he was pushing for it. He's South African, you know. I mean, listen, hold on. I think you and I would both agree that you're going to look out for your people. I don't know what your people are. I know my people are, right?
Your people? Are you saying Elon Musk has a greater allegiance to South Africa than he does to the United States of America?
No, but you want to help out people that you are. Like,
oh, okay. But then isn't he kind of like helping out South Africans at the expense of the United States of America? After all this USAID cut being so important, all that, we're bringing in all these South Africans.
I don't want to fund that either.
There you go.
I mean,
right.
what's your point? I mean, I think it's reasonable though. I think it's reasonable though, as Elon, to want to go and do that though. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable.
I guess. Look, the reason that we are going to different areas than just strictly USAID, and I just want to explain this a little bit, is because the arguments that you bring up require us to do so. If you bring up that you can't have a culture or you can't have a civilization without conservatism, we have to be able to address that. And yes, addressing that won't be the prompt, but you did bring it up, thus making it something that we should and can discuss. I guess the question to you, Mr. Andrew, how can you conserve something without a society already existing? Like, obviously, you can't progress a society without the society existing.
I was only responding to him saying that we, like, making the claim about us. I didn't bring it up. I was just pointing to him saying that all we do is destroy things when his side is the side of literally anarchy and George Soros and Antifa. Saying that we destroy things is hilarious. But this isn't the prompt, so I'm not going to debate it. If you want to do that, we can debate it with the specific prompt that we're prepared for. That's why Destiny's trying to do this, because he's making the same.
You brought it up by calling him a liberal, so you're lying again.
Okay, but I could just go back to the point before that. Like, why is everything I say a lie to you? It's not a lie. I'm actually being good faith. People in your chat are telling me to self-delete and calling me a retard. So you don't have the moral high ground here by any means.
I mean, this is not a gotcha. Hold on, this is not a gotcha. You not this. I mean, I don't know what you identify. She's right. Destiny, do you identify as a liberal? I don't know how you identify. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. So he wasn't lying then. Like, what was your point there? She's right. Like,
take that back.
Well, because he was saying it was not about like making it about liberalism when he brought it up again, and then he was refusing blame for that when it backfired again. He's done that.
It was a response. It was a reaction to something that he said.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. $5 from Robert Paulson. OMG, we have already doubled in Iran what was supposedly saved from cutting USAID. Fist guy is definition of a bad faith actor. Do you want to address that?
I'm honestly trying to be good faith here. I'm hoping maybe Destiny, the moderator, my partner, even she's right, sees that. I'm not lying. I'm trying to be honest. That is the truth.
I mean, like, this is why, if the way that a good faith person would approach cutting something like USAID is that, one, they would recognize there's a difference between ideological disagreements and like actual waste, fraud, and abuse. That's the first step. If we can't see the difference between that, then that's just crazy. Number one. And then
I did say that.
Okay. And then the second thing is that if we're giving the principal reason is cutting USAID as helping the debt or the deficit when every other policy that this administration that you support seems to like push for, and all of that increases the debt and the deficit. And then when we look at USAID and we look at some programs at least that I think most people around the planet would think are good, and we're like, we should cut those too, without even trying to see if there's a way to make it more efficient, then it seems like this is just like an ideological lines-driven thing that it has nothing to do with like the amount of people say, like, even if we could show like, 100 million people got saved by PEPFAR, it sounds like that wouldn't be acceptable. You'd just say, I don't care, we should cut it. It's not our responsibility or obligation.
I said to you, we need to verify where the money is going. I said, I'll give you PEPFAR. Can we get rid of all the DEI and transgender and LGBT stuff for now? I even said for now. I said, I don't want anybody to die. I'm not trying to cut things. I'm saying I don't want to just burn the money. And I'm only talking about this money because that's the prompt.
Sure,
if we want to talk about other monies, I will take the same attitude. Sure, but I'm not being bad faith. I'm doing exactly what you just said, Destiny.
Government money, all of it,
burning the money, and you never
all of this money has is tracked. If you want, it's checked. It already is. It's government money. Government money has the most fucking strings attached to it than any money on the fucking planet. Like, what do you mean? Do you think they literally just deposit money to a person's bank account and then that's it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Literally, all of the overhead of USAID, which is usually criticized in good faith, is it's inefficient with its administrative overhead. We need to find smarter ways to hire people at a cheaper rate to be doing that oversight. By supporting gutting USAID, you are actually getting rid of the people who would be checking.
No, so you don't understand how logic works. I got you to agree with my premise.
I do.
My premise, right? What was my premise, Destiny? That this is an existential threat. Therefore, things can't be two things at once. It can't be detrimental to our interest to remove things from that are not national security interest. It's very simple. You guys can keep strawmanning the argument.
If you want to play a logic game, if you want to play a logic game, a premise in and of itself is not an argument. And you can't do one.
I just gave you the conclusion.
Yes, one premise and one conclusion is not an argument. That's just a tautology.
I've been trying to do it the whole time. You just strawmanning.
If you want to go deeper, then you would generally talk about the magnitude of your costs, okay?
I have them listed. Every time I go through, you say that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
I'm not talking about the
$1.5 million advance.
Let me know when you're done filibustering. All right.
It's not filibustering.
It is a filibuster. I'm telling you that the problem is not the cost inside of the random 2 million.
So what was
Go
the
filibuster. Keep filibustering. Keep filibustering.
What was the first thing
Keep filibustering. Keep filibustering.
What was the first? Can you
go ahead.
The first thing?
I haven't even finished my sentence from it, so you don't even know.
Start it over.
If you want to talk about the debt or the deficit, then you would talk about the magnitude of how much different things are costing us. And when the entirety of USAID is anywhere from 30 to 50 billion a year, and the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is like fucking 300 to 600 billion a year, it makes it weird to say we got to go into the USAID cuts to help us with the debt and the deficit when no one is even talking about the other stuff. That's a very weird thing.
What Destiny is trying to do, because he can't find the flaw in the actual logic that I'm laying out, is he's trying to whataboutism. He's pointing to something else that's not the prompt. He's saying, yes, this is a definition of whataboutism.
It literally is.
Why aren't you bringing this up over here when I'm giving you a logical argument that if you already agreed to my premise that this is an existential threat, you can't argue with the logic that we should be trying to cut it down. You basically said that yourself. And since USAID is the prompt, that's what I'm focused on. It's not because because I want people to die or I don't like babies.
What is the existential threat? What is the existential threat? What is the existential threat?
You already agreed to it.
What is it? What is the existential threat? I'm just asking to restate
it. Why you feel? Hold on. Stop.
No, I'm just asking. What is the existential threat?
You already agreed.
Well, I'm just asking. What is the existential threat? I'm asking.
Did you not agree to it now?
I'm just. You can't
You're
even answer
trying to double back.
We've agreed to it to be nice. Hold
on. The existential threat is the national debt.
Yes. Correct. Cutting USA doesn't do much to alleviate that. That's why this isn't the syllogism you think it is.
Something.
Especially mind you, when cuts to USAID are meant to go to those checks and not in fact to lowering the debt. So that money would still be flying out of the government. Remember that?
Okay. So again, what
about? So it wouldn't affect the deficit. It would not lower the deficit if it would be going to those checks. Which, by the way, it hasn't. So it
you just smuggled in another part and said, "Oh, well, now it doesn't affect it." Okay. If you didn't smuggle that in, then it would. What I'm saying is we have to cut things where we can.
Let me just ask this: if I say I'm going on a diet, then you see me going to Pizza Hut, I order 2 large pizzas for myself, right? I get wings, I get cheesy bread, and then I say, well, you know what? I'm going to order a Diet Coke. Would you consider me being serious about my diet? Am I taking the diet seriously?
I'm making a prescriptive claim about what we should do, not a descriptive claim. Why are you laughing?
Because it doesn't even make sense
claim.
here. What do you mean?
It's not a descriptive claim about everything that's happening with the money. I'm making a prescription for overseas funds. If you have a problem with that logic, then you can bring it out. But deflecting to something else is just moving the goalpost, dude. We're not talking about that. That wasn't the prompt, was it? I know you can't win on the prompt. I understand that.
But hold on. You understand that, again, in many cases, us donating or giving money to these struggling countries makes it more likely in the future that they will give us good trade deals, positive trade deals, which would make us what?
I would need
money.
I would need you to.
It would make us money, and we.
If you want to look into it, that's what the Reagan
You can make that claim, but I need you to demonstrate that. You can make that claim.
Reagan era
Okay, I'll demonstrate it. I'll just demonstrate it real quick for you using your own logic.
You have to demonstrate it.
I'm doing that right now.
You're not even one of the debaters. Why are you demonstrating the argument? Honestly, I'm just asking.
Hey, I like to talk. I have.
No, but let them demonstrate an argument.
Support education funding abroad and at home.
That's the argument.
No, that's not the argument. The argument is since it was founded in the 60s, we have grown immensely in wealth and power, and that is partially in part because of the USAID program. It hasn't hurt us. It has only helped.
Yeah, that's why I was saying logically cutting. Go ahead, Gibbs. You can take it.
Yeah, I would argue against this, actually. I mean, and then here's an evidence. So this is actually from the House.gov. You can look this up. It's USAID's Troubling Ties Left Dark Money Network. Testimony for the Subcommittee on Delivery of Government Efficiency, Committee of Oversight, yada, 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 by Tyler O'Neill. This is from February 26, 2025. And they go in here and they list a lot of these things like that we've already talked about. Examples, 1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, inclusion in Serbia, workplaces, exploiting advanced human rights, social inclusion, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex in Guatemala, 250 million for climate finance development accelerator, mobilize, all these things. And then they go on to how later in this document, how there's ties to some of these. They're saying, oh, well, we deny ever giving money back or doing this. But then there's evidence that they do it of things that's like suppressing actively these regimes, specifically in South America, where they go and attack and they repress people that are opposed leftist ideology. And they're using the United States money to fund oppression. Now, I don't want to fund oppression, right? And then this goes back to my point earlier about, hey, we are now making a lot more deals with all these countries in South America. We have much more favorable governments. I don't think it's good to have governments that are pro-communist groups pro-China on the close to our hemisphere, right? And now we're pushing them out. And these are all things that USA has enabled, according to this document that was presented. And so I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, hey, I see this all the time. And I think the evidence speaks for itself. We cut USAID and seven countries switched in their newest election from left to right and populist pro-American regimes. This is a good thing. Do you think a populist, openly pro-American regime is more likely to make a deal with the United States than a country that's siding actively with China and other socialist countries? Yeah, obviously. So when you're saying it's helped us, I would argue that's debatable. Maybe at one point it helped us, but I think it's become so corrupted that it's not helping us anymore.
Sure. Why do you think China uses its Belt and Road initiatives?
Absolutely. That's
why do you think it does that? Why do you think it has that program?
I think they do it for the same reason that you would argue the USA. I absolutely believe in soft power. I just believe how it's been done has been done poorly. Now, when you're sitting here saying with China, there's a reason why China is now having a rubber band kind of effect in some of these African countries, because now they're having Chinese businesses there. And some of these African countries are very upset because now they have foreign businesses taking jobs from people there. That sounds kind of familiar, right? So we're having this issue repeatedly on a global scale where this liberal idea of this liberal world order is kind of failing. It's being progressed with a multipolarity, hemispheric order of Russia and China getting their spheres, NATO and Africa kind of developing their own, and the United States getting our hemisphere, right? And so that's what I'm seeing right now. And I'm saying I think USAID has failed in the long run. It maybe helped the short term, but it's gone now.
Okay. Well, gang, we've kind of circled the drain a little bit, and we are a little out of time. It's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to give every one of these lovely individuals a chance to have closing thoughts, closing statements, final arguments, and tell people where they can find you. I have links to all their channels in my YouTube description. Please click them. Please give them a follow. Please give them a sub. All these things. I see your super chats. We're going to get through them. They can stay if they'd like, and I'd like them to. And I see callers want to call in as well. and you can absolutely call in if you'd like. But when you need to go, I understand. I'm going to give the mic first to Destiny. I'm going to let Mr. Andrew have the last word. Destiny, make your closing thoughts.
I mean, if you're not going to trust anything the government says for any of their own tracking or accountability things, but you are going to trust when Doge says they've cut things, I don't even know how you begin to have the conversation about whether or not USAID has been efficient or done anything at all. I don't know how to have those arguments where somebody doesn't trust any of the government accountability offices or any of the reporting. I mean, there's whole sites you can go to look up like all of this stuff. I wish that people knew what waste, fraud, and abuse actually was. I don't blame conservatives for not, because they were also tricked into thinking that Trump is a good businessman, and so they trust him when he talks about waste, fraud, and abuse, even though he's a terrible fucking businessman. Yeah, I don't know. I just get sad to be kind of like locked into ranked fives when half the team apparently wants to int. It's pretty obvious that our standing in the world has gone like pretty severely down since Trump took office, but I don't know. People are in some massive cope denial about that, and will continue until we get a Democrat back in office, I guess.
Okay, thanks for being here. She's right.
Yeah, since the 2025 cuts to programs like USAID, there have been approximately 263,000 adult deaths and 518,000 child deaths. On its own, I think beyond many material means, America should be leading as like a moral leader on the world stage to show everyone what a government should be about when you have the opportunity. Domestically, that's Social Security. Globally, that's USAID. It should be cool. We want to lead the way and just show the world what it's like to be good and awesome. You should sign up to vote at vote.org and be ready for November, because together we can reduce the deficit and save lives by the millions.
Thank you for being here. Links to all their channels again in the YouTube description. Gibbs, please.
First, thanks to my opponents for the time. Appreciate y'all having me here. Wait for hosting the discussion. Yeah, I mean, in closing, listen, I think this is all part of Trump's Don Road auction, modern Fortress America take, where he's trying to rebuild an American empire or set us up further going forward in an era of multipolarity. If you want to check that out, I've done some videos on it. It's fantastic. I really like the foreign policy he's doing. I know that a lot of people here think it's mean, but I think the era of neo-imperialism is over, and I think it's time to return back to imperialism. I think that's just what's going to happen. It's the natural state of things. As far as what I got coming up, hey, July 24th in Dallas, I will be hosting and emceeing GridCon 2. It's going to be good stuff. Y'all are all welcome. Everybody come join and check it out. I think it's free to come to the event, and we have like room for 200 people. Should be food and lots of exciting debates. Hope to see y'all there. Thank you for having me once again.
Check it out, gang. And Mr. Dragonfist TV, a.k.a. Andrew. Go ahead.
Yes, like my partner said, thank you, Alice. Thank you, Destiny. Thank you, Wick, for hosting. I do appreciate it. In closing, I'll just say, Destiny never quite got my argument right until maybe the end. He was making the same points I was, which is, and then deflecting. Just their whole argument was, well, why don't you care about this over here or that over here? And then at the end there, Alice tried to bring in the dead children argument, which I cited in the beginning as this is just emotional blackmail. Of course. Like, look at them. They want dead children. Of course, we don't want that. But like I said, left-wing outlets were reporting dead children before they realized the money hadn't stopped yet. So if that doesn't tell you who's trying to pull the wool over your face here, I don't know what to tell you, but you guys can look that up. We're talking about CNN, BBC, the AP, and Reuters, at least, reporting child deaths before the money even stopped. So at that, I'll leave it there.
No, thanks for being here. Let's bring some callers in and see what they have to say. Hello, you're live. Oh, you are deafened. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Hello, how's it going? Can you just give me a second here?
Yeah, take your time. It's not like you're live or anything, and we're waiting on you. Okay.
Hi.
What do you got?
I've been watching. I've been taking notes. I've got a few questions here. So real quick for Gibbs and it's Dragonfist, right? Yeah, Dragonfist.
Yes, sir.
If you guys want to pay down the debt, do you want to raise taxes? Because that's one great way to pay down the debt. Is more taxes.
Just before Dragons go, to be clear, the debt is bad. This is not my argument at all about the USAID thing. So no, I don't want to raise taxes. But go ahead.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, both of you. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, again, if you want a comprehensive plan for exactly how to pay down the debt, including domestic policies, we can come back and have another debate on that. But like trying to get me on things that I didn't prepare for this debate specifically is not a good tactic. I'm only talking about the prompt here.
Well, I mean, I won't hold you to it. I'm just wondering, would you be okay with raising taxes in general?
I would be okay with looking at all options, as I really do believe it's an existential threat.
Okay, fair enough. Gibbs, this is more for me personally. Why did you link the taxpayer-funded orgies story to the Senate gay sex video scandal when they're not exactly related stories?
The VA one?
Well, no, because there was that one. It went viral in right-wing spaces back in 2023 of like some twink dude getting butt fucked in the Senate chamber.
I didn't bring that up. He brought up the chamber. I brought up the VA story, which is a story I brought up when I was on Tim Pool talking about Doge with somebody else. So this is a recurring theme for Papa. Because listen, if anybody's going to have an orgy that taxpayers are paying for, it's going to be fucking me, not these people.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to. Maybe I heard that wrong. So fair enough. Here, okay. I'm gonna share something with you.
Go ahead.
You don't mind.
Quickly.
Just right a minute, okay? Here. So. Where's my thingy? Here, you guys can probably see my my feed, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this is the total spending in 2022 of the American government. You know that foreign aid was only 1% of it, right? Like it's not that big of a deal. If there's a lot more things to cut, and foreign aid is Gibbs left. That fuck. He left when I come with facts. I can't believe it. But yeah, so it's just 1%, right? Like it's kind of tiny, and if you were going to look over it, like what does it, if you look at it, there was a huge peak here around COVID times. I'll zoom in on that again. So there's a pretty big peak in USAID spending, but for the most part, it's remained pretty steady and pretty low. So there's actually not much money going out in terms of USAID.
I heard you.
Now, okay. Welcome back. The majority of USAID is going to Ukraine, or was going to Ukraine, which hopefully we can agree is a decent cause. I know you guys talked about
these guys wouldn't 100%.
No, hold on. Let's ask him. Do you think it was good or in America's interest for us to give money to Ukraine?
I absolutely do think it was a bit. Listen,
okay.
I am. What
about the other gentleman here, Dragonfist?
I prefer supporting Ukraine than I do to supporting Israel, to be honest. But I honestly, I think I take a more isolationist approach, man. I think we should get out of all foreign entanglements until we get things under control at home.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem with the USAID thing, like I said, we just had a congressional.
They just use the bathroom.
Where they were just talking about, like, literally, we have people on record allegedly now under the congressional oath saying that they have evidence of the Bidens being in cahoots with getting money funding that they were giving the USA to come back over here. And I've just looked at.
That's not true. None of that is true.
Well, it's under congressional oath. So I mean, I didn't make the claim. Somebody did under oath under Congress. Now y'all were just talking about what we can trust. If you can't trust people under oath in Congress, what can we really trust?
Well, the majority of USAID has gone to Ukraine so far. Now, if we're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse, did you see this story where there was a whole bunch of food that was sitting around in warehouses in Africa? You couldn't take it back because it would cost too much to bring back to America. And because of what Trump did to USAID, it just rotted, all right? Sure. So we had 60,000 tons of food that could have fed, I think, 3.5 million people for a month. Like even if you want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse, even if you think that this shouldn't be happening, it's already there. Why not hand it out?
Listen, I'm not going to argue that. Listen, it's already been allocated for it. I agree. It should be handed out. I'm not saying everything's been done perfectly, right? But whenever you have mass changes, like, once again, I'm not making the argument that Dragonfist is about, the debt we need to pay down. All this is like, listen, I want more efficiency. I don't necessarily want it for the funding the debt kind of shit, right? I'm talking more about efficiency, like, and be using our power the right way, like a scalpel, right? So this, I agree. Maybe it should have been handed out. It's already over there. You should give it to the warlords. I don't give a shit. It's going to go to waste, whatever. But I don't like when you have this kind of thing and you are cutting these programs and having a major transition, you are going to have incidences like this where stuff goes to waste. And like in the short term, in the long term, you're going to gut it and it's going to be better overall. That's generally how this works in most businesses. And I would assume with the bureaucracies like the United States, it'd be similar.
Do you have a response, Dragon? Then we're going to bring on another caller.
Oh shit, Wick, I got more.
I know you got more, but we got have you seen my backstage? Okay.
I have seen it. Yes, I have seen it.
Okay.
I have seen it.
Any response, Dragonfist? You're muted.
He just went to the restroom. Remember?
Oh, he just went.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, then here, just real quick, I do want to point out that the reason we even know that this story even happened, is because a person who whistleblowed on the Trump administration, who was eventually fired for it. Trump fired this person for revealing this information, so that kind of looks bad in the administration. However, like I'm sure you've seen this, right? The fact that Democrats seem to do way better with the deficit than Republicans. Like
That was mentioned. Yeah, I
yeah,
heard that.
so like Republicans spend a whole bunch, and then Democrats kind of spend less and try to right the ship, and then Republicans spend even more. Here's Bill Clinton bringing it above into the green for the first time. Bush spends like crazy. Obama saves. Trump spends like crazy, and then Biden saves it.
For both sides, like Clinton and Bush Senior really aren't that far apart in policy. Like Bush Senior, a lot of those policies economically carried over. So it's the same argument Dim's made. Oh, Trump inherited the Biden economy. He took like the good and got rid of the bad, right? Like I mean, that's the same argument I would make with Bush Senior and Trump, even though not Trump, but with Clinton, because I mean, remember that the economy's stupid. That was what got him in there. And then as soon as he got in,
Iraq and Afghanistan was the same. Hello, that was a Republican-led mission.
That's Bush W, not Bush Senior, but. Sure.
Oh, sure, but I mean, like that was a huge,
I guess my point.
A fuck ton of spending.
Once again, I'm not arguing about the spending. I would argue now, 20 years later, the Ba'ath Party being gone from Libya, Syria, and Iraq is a benefit. We don't have a country that's going to increase the gold standard in Africa and have one unit currency. We don't have the port access to Syria would have provided to Iraq from the other side to the Mediterranean, or their military power for Iraq, Libya, and them combined. And we don't have Saddam's oil backing them. So yeah, I think to get rid of the Ba'ath Party and turning them into ISIS, which was weaker than the Ba'ath Party across 3 countries, is a good thing. And then when ISIS got dominated, guess what? That's even better because now they're even smaller factions.
$50 from Frenzified, and you can, if you want to skip the super chat line, just pay me $50 or more, and I'll just do that. Frenzified for $50 to say she's right. Cool, thank you. $50 from That Blue Falcon. Great panel, Wick. Well, thank you. Please ask the conservatives why they think Russia was the biggest proponent of ending U.S. aid if it wasn't beneficial to U.S. geopolitical interests. And he wants the $50 answer. So go ahead.
What proof does he have that Russia is the big, like, one, I don't want to do the biggest thing. Like, that's kind of a douchebag thing to do. But, like, I don't see any evidence that they're the ones who wanted to get rid of it. I'm once again, USA has been restructured under the State Department. The State Department is giving it out. We're doing much more transactional stuff with USAID. We're doing deals with Rwanda is a good example. That Rwanda's taking over French contracts and NATO contracts to be like military powder in the region. They're projecting power for us. Like, there was all sorts of stuff. Malaya's doing stuff with us. I like over and over and over again. I think that the restructuring has been necessary and overall good. Sometimes it's just good to clean out the rot. Dragonfist, did you want to answer that? Because it's a $50 one.
Well, I mean, again, there's no evidence that that's the case. So I don't want to speculate as to like who made that statement. Like, was it officially the Russian government? Like, I don't know the answer to that.
Well, how do you know there's no evidence?
Well, I mean, also, doesn't Russia and China like to see us become more isolationist, right?
That was their position.
Russia and China like to see the U.S. become more isolationist, right? They all favor that, no?
Again, who's they all?
Russia and China. Russia and China.
Is there any statement from any government officials saying that, or are you just assuming
Putin
that based on their global position, they should want that?
Well, I mean, one, we can look at the fact that Putin heavily tried to influence the 2016 and 2020 election in favor of Donald Trump. No? Yes?
Well, here's a statement from Maria Zakharova.
Wasn't the whole Podesta hacks, the DCC hacks? Those were Russian operatives, right? The Guccifer leak was Russian operatives. They hacked. Did they hack any Republicans? No, they didn't, right? It was all just Democrats, right? So that was the Russian position. The state Russian position was to leak shit to try to make the Democrats look bad, so that Donald Trump would win the election instead of Hillary Clinton, right?
I mean, that would be like saying if you did something for a specific objective, that was the position of all Americans. It certainly wouldn't be the position of me, right?
I'm sorry, when we say Russia, that's shorthand for Moscow. Keep filibustering, keep filibustering, keep filibustering, keep filibustering, keep filibustering, keep filibustering.
No.
When people say Russia, they mean like Moscow or the Kremlin. It's shorthand for the leadership in that country.
If there's an official statement, I don't know. You're asking me to agree to something.
Oh my
fucking
God.
I'm telling you, yes. Russia
it's their official position.
Calls agency a machine for interfering, and this was from Maria Zark. Look, I'm never going to pronounce these names, man. Look, one of their ministers, right? They directly said this. This is something that they wanted, they called for, they advocated for, and they wanted it to happen. And you can understand why they would, because some of it was going to Ukraine.
Yeah,
obviously,
of course. But
right?
again, that would be like saying AOC made a statement. That doesn't mean it's the position of the American government at this time.
No,
he is a member of our
he is
parliament,
the foreign
not a
minister.
minister.
Right. I don't know that specific case. You said one of the ministers.
Okay, you
I
asked
don't
for
know who
evidence.
it
I
is.
gave you evidence.
Okay, so what is it that you want me to agree to?
Okay, so
That
the
you think is
question was,
Some win here.
why? It was a question. Why
Yeah.
do you think if U.S. aid isn't in our interests, why do our enemies, such as Russia and China, want us to end it?
Again, I didn't say that there's no beneficial programs in USAID. That was never my claim. I said we need to look at them and evaluate the merit. Where is the waste? Yes, I know it might be political, what I think is waste and what you think is waste. We went over that. But I never said there's not one single thing in there that we should keep. Actually, I said quite the opposite. I even conceded to say, like, we can maybe keep the AIDS prevention and cut some of the other stuff. So I was never on that position. So I'm not going to defend it.
Sure. But I don't
I'm
think
not
the
saying
other
that
side
it's
was-
not possible that there's something in USAID, one thing that's in our interest
Yeah,
that
but I don't think. Hold on, I
I
don't think
never
the
said
position
that.
of the other side
That's
is
an
don't
absolute-
cut anything ever from USAID. If you can show USAID is engaging in actual fraud, waste, and abuse, I think everyone would be okay with cutting that. Am I incorrect in your position here?
Nope, everybody be
that's
okay
my
with that.
position.
Yeah.
So we've
mean-
come to an agreement. Now we just have to agree on what waste, fraud, and abuse is.
Okay, fair
That's
enough.
the whole point.
I know.
Okay. Well, here,
That's
hold
why I
on a
said-
second.
I get that.
Actually,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
I gotta ask this. So, you two, you guys actually think that like Doge was overall a good thing?
I like Doge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Just real quick then. Did you guys hear about John Solly, like one of those tech bro kids in Doge, who a whistleblower basically caught him stealing Social Security data?
Mhm.
Of
And so
millions of Americans. Is that not really bad? Is that not really
Yeah.
fucking bad?
that's bad. Sure. Yeah. But listen, who's this? John Sully? Is that his name?
John Sully is a
Yeah,
guy
John
who
Sully,
worked in
yeah.
Doge. Yeah.
He worked in Doge, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
you're saying one bad guy
I know.
did something bad, and now you want to incriminate the entire organization. I mean, cool. In that case, like I said, I guess the SPLC, like I said, is actually is the actual movement, the legal arm of the Nazis.
Well,
and
do you
Thank
think that-
I agree? One person bad indicts the whole organization.
Well,
The
hold on.
SPLC
Wait,
is
Gibbs,
working
Gibbs,
as
hold on.
operatives the whole
Hold on.
time. Thank you, Dev. I appreciate that.
Do you think this guy's going to face any charges for this?
No fucking idea. I'm not a lawyer.
$50.
Okay.
$50 from Oda Shara to say this. Preventative medicine is always a good thing, especially
Probably
since we
should.
have U.S. citizens who go and visit other countries. USAID is just based. Thank you for that. It's not really a question, but thank you for the comment.
And the Dev.
Let me
yes,
bring
he
out
should get
another
sued.
caller because
Well, arrested.
we got
If-
people. Okay.
Right. I'd put money on it. Okay.
Reason, you're live. Don't.
Okay, so there's a completely different debate going on, but hopefully I can catch up with what you've been debating about. But the last thing I heard was that the pro-USAID guys were a little bit on the defensive. I don't know how much you've covered about like the positives of USAID up until this point.
Make your case quickly.
Okay, I mean, there's a bit of a competition going on, right? I mean, let's forget the morality of this. I mean, if you think about what's going on with China, I mean, I sent you some photographs, Wick. There's two pictures. I mean, maybe you can get the anti-USA people to tell the difference between the pictures of the two bags, for example.
Let me find the DM.
Sorry.
Can you send them
In
to
the
me all
meantime-
as like one?
In the meantime, I'll say, yeah, for the positives, over the past year since the cuts, like the benefits of USAID funding and the differential, over 500,000 child deaths would have been prevented by USAID funding. Like it's a lot of the USAID and the positive arguments are going to be it's getting rid of a negative problem, but yeah, 500,000 children, I think that's a W.
Let's forget about the morality. Let's say life doesn't matter. It sounds cruel, but I mean, there are other aspects to it as well, right?
Well, that's just the default conservative position, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go with it. Sure, exactly. Let's play that game. Like we were talking about the Balkans before. I've been to Serbia quite a few times.
The picture's up, by the way. I did it myself.
Okay, can they tell the difference between the bags? I mean, you don't have to read Chinese to know what it says because it's also in English. Can you see what's going on there?
I don't see it.
This is as big as I can make it. 'cause
Yeah, I mean,
you
I can
send
see it.
Oh, I can make it bigger. Never mind.
Where are you guys
So
looking?
spot the difference
Is there an
between the
echo?
bags.
Yeah, USAID and China aid, yes.
Yeah. Which one do you think is like dominating in terms of the amount spent right now by who's spending the most in terms of soft aid?
Well, we are substantially. Like that is not. Hey, China's
How
not
much-
spending as much as we are.
I mean, strictly soft day, the US is spending about
Okay.
2.5 billion right now, and China's spending about 10 billion. So I mean,
Arguably.
China's winning that, yeah, arguably. But I mean, you brought up countries that hate the US. I mean, it's interesting you bring up ones in sub-Saharan Africa. That's where China's doing its best. And you brought up the Balkans, and Serbia is at the kind of, in terms of the information war, right at the forefront. I know this from personal experience. I've been there a number of times. I've got good friends of multiple generations, but mainly younger generations. And like, it's kind of clear, like you might want to think of it as a bit cruel, but as I say, let's forget the morality of this. The LGBT issue, right, is it supports a certain type of person in a country. And there's a big LGBT community in Serbia, and they'll be pretty happy to be supported in regards to that. If, measures that kind of, they don't have to be super pro this, but at least nod their head to saying, hey, you exist, right? I mean, I'm sure you like to feel like you exist with something, if there's a cultural thing and there's a picture of someone that looks a bit like you feel included, right?
Listen, I'm actually, I want to break from this idea. I'm not proposing any anti-LGBTQ stuff at all. Like, I don't care. Like, listen, I understand the groups that some of them need protection from bigger powers. The argument that I'm making, and maybe this is the cool part of this, is like, when I look at these groups that we're supporting in, like, say, Serbia, right? It's not that necessarily the LGBTQ group doesn't need help. I'm sure they do, especially in an Eastern European country where they have like heavy Christian and heavy Muslim like contingents that probably look down on them, right? Here's my problem: is what's going to benefit us more efficiently? Is it going to be backing this group like the LGBTQ that's going to not have? Listen, I don't want to call them not manly, but the traits that generally exhibit are not going to be the guys going and doing guerrilla warfare. Which guy do you want to go and back? You want to go and back?
Some of them are pretty burly guys. I mean, I wouldn't.
Sure. I'm not saying they're all, and I'm not a blanket statement. I'm just saying generally, you're going to want to back these people that are going to be able to get you most bang for your buck, right? Like, and I think that like when we abandon the Kurds, that's a fail. Like we've done this for multiple generations. The Kurds have been very efficient with getting the job done in a lot of these countries that when they fought for us, and I think abandoning was bad. I think in Serbia it's the same thing. Who are we backing? Why would we back a group, the LGBTQ, which is maybe it's a large group like in general, but they're not a large significant portion of the population. And as far as I know, they're also not going to be the one. Right? They're also not going to be breeding and creating.
Wait, just a quick question
either.
for Gibbs. I'm just curious. Do you think that you have more in common in terms of what you want for America with like a bog standard Democrat or like a bog standard communist?
A box standard Democrat or a box standard communist? I would say probably a box standard Democrat. Yeah.
Why do you think all the commies are so happy to see USAID go?
Well, because they're happy about anything that they think they can spend. Like it's not necessarily a reason why they should be happy. Listen, they shouldn't be happy because they're losing ground in all these other countries now that USAID's gone.
But all of them seem to be happy about it. So why?
Yeah, because it's hurting you. You're the liberal, right? And listen, nobody hates liberals and commies more than each other, right? And so they're happy that the liberal world order, is disappearing, and they think they can use this opportunity to gain power. I mean, I that's the way I see it. Conservatives do the same
so
thing.
doesn't it say something about you thinking that this is making America stronger when like America's greatest adversaries see the disappearance of things like USAID as a way for them to gain more influence?
I mean, I think that there's difference, though. I see it as a devastation of the liberal world order, which I think has hurt America overall and put us like on equal footing as opposed to putting us first, versus what I want, which is America first.
Hasn't America been like the leader of the free world for the past 80 years? How has that hurt us?
Sure, and things change. Do you agree that alliances need to change as like economic and world power situations change?
Aren't we still the leader of the free world? What changed?
Yeah, well, I mean, these other countries, they use our military basically to go in there, and they basically funded that. They basically like said, hey, we don't have to fund our militaries. We can do social programs all across, and NATO is the weakest it's ever been, right?
Well, yeah, but what's happened as a result of that? What's happened as a result of that? Is Europe getting ahead of the United States?
No, they hate us. In some ways, they hate us. They think that they're better than us. They look down on us like, oh, you have
who hates you? Who hates you?
A lot of Europeans do. I've
give me an example.
When Trump is in office, Serbs hate us, sure, but I mean, like,
how about Belarus?
Threaten taking some of our territory. I mean, that's the friendliest thing.
The Chechens, do they like this?
This is an aside, but do you not have air conditioning, Reason Rose?
I now have air conditioning. I've actually turned it off because it's cooled down here. I don't understand this far-right talking point about the AC debate in Europe. It's frankly not happening.
It's not far-right. It's just funny to us that y'all don't like it.
But there isn't a debate. It's just a question of, like, can we get... There's simply not being sold right now. That's part of the problem.
Wait, why do you...
Hold on, I do got to speed this up because I want to respect everyone's time.
Okay, because I haven't got much time to talk, frankly.
Okay.
Do you not think that there's a value to allegiances? Serbia actually has turned westwards recently. Do you not think that any of the USAID influence in Serbia has played a role there? Like the Western
Kay, from
Balkans is a
YouTube.
really interesting region, like Montenegro. I don't know how much you know about the details and the demographics there. Moldova is there. I saw USAID actually in action. I saw the people on the ground in action with the communities there. Moldova, I think they've turned pretty westwards recently. Do you not think that's an advantage to the US, just on an economic front, and in terms of allegiance? Like allegiances are pretty valuable.
Sure,
No?
and I echo what Dragonfist has already said. There's not necessarily not good programs in USAID, but they've been lumped into the State Department. The State Department's handling it directly because we think the USAID system has been corrupted and bad. I don't necessarily want all programs to stop that are helping us soft power, but I do want new oversight. And I don't care about. I know y'all have said, "Oh, USAID was the oversight," but USAID I don't feel like was doing a good job. I can point to other examples, and I think that we need new oversight and a restructuring. And I think maybe some of these programs can continue or be expanded while getting rid of other ones.
Well, they're not continuing. They're cut. They're gone. I mean, you're spending like a
That's
quarter what China spends.
Yeah, but-
you know, supposedly like your well, not just your enemy. I'd say to some extent Europe's enemy. I find it frankly scary that this soft power is undervalued in terms of global power. It's a nice way to do it. I prefer soft power to hard power. I'm sure we all
We've been doing
do
it for
this,
all
right?
this time, and we
It's
need
a
like
false
7 or 9
dichotomy that we. Yeah, and it's a false dichotomy that if we support Serbia, we have to support DEI in their workplace. Like we could still cut that and support them in a different way.
But you didn't cut
So
just
if
that.
you
You cut
want
everything.
USA
Just because we don't support that
improve.
one program doesn't mean that we don't support them as an ally.
So
We
at the
could actually
beginning, I got
think
the
that
impression you're
program
against
is
USAID.
hurtful. Maybe I think homogeny, not diversity, is the strong suit.
So you want
Maybe,
more
like-
effective USAID, but you don't want less of it. That's great. I mean, because at the moment it's a lot less than China.
But say that again. I
it
missed the
seems to-
beginning.
You want the same amount of USAID, just more effective, because at the moment it's less than China, which I think is pretty concerning.
Well, I think we live in a more multipolar world, and if they have more influence in their hemisphere, like I said, I'm more of an isolationist. I'm not like
China spends $2 billion in sub-Saharan Africa on soft power. Are you not concerned by that?
But again, nothing that I said means that I'm not concerned about that. That's what I'm saying.
Why would you
want
I
a
just don't
weaker-
think that the money's being allocated correctly, and I think anything that we can cut that isn't a national security issue for now, we take care of our own major issues that we have, so we can be more effective in doing all the things you're talking about in the future.
Doesn't making
It
us
would be more
more
effective,
isolated? Doesn't that make us weaker as a country? Like,
I'm saying that I think that we can rebuild and come back stronger.
wait. What do you mean? Wait. When you say rebuild, though, like the thing that has made
Get
America
things under control, cut spending,
No,
cut
hold on.
spending.
The
all
thing
things
that
I was
hasn't
talking
made
about.
America
I
strong
don't
has been
think
the fact that we have.
diversity programs in Serbia or LGBT.
Yeah, you keep
I
making
can
fun
read
of
off
these
the list.
diversity
I don't
programs and
think that
LGBT things, but
helps
every
us
single
in
country
any
that's risen
way.
up
I'm
as a
not
strong country that hates all of this shit
If it was a
disappears in a
heterosexual
single
program, I would
generation.
still say cut it.
Historically-
if it was for heterosexual weddings in
No one
Serbia,
cares.
I would
Filibuster,
still say
filibuster,
Okay,
the
you got- you
filibuster.
gotta let him respond.
Just to be
You
clear,
understand?
the commies
not
like outperformed you
anti-LGBT.
guys. The communists had more successful track records than you guys, who freak the fuck out when you see some gay shit. They did better than you. So I don't know where you
And
keep
I
saying I want to
just
go
said
back
it's
to.
not
You want to go back to where
anti-LGBT.
I don't care about the
If it was
LGBT
for
shit.
heterosexual-
No.
Are you
More
listening?
filibustering.
Are you paying
Okay.
attention to
All
what
right,
I'm
keep
actually
going.
saying?
Yeah, repeat
Because
the
I
same
think
thing
I'm
7
gonna
times
get
again. Go
more-
I
ahead.
actually have something that's related to this. I have a
Hold
question.
on a second. Let me just clarify.
You're not
If it was
clarifying.
for
You're repeating the same
heterosexual
shit a
weddings-
million fucking
if it
times.
was
We
for
know.
heterosexual
No
weddings,
comic books.
are
We
you
got it. No
making-
comic books.
let
No
me get
comic
this point out
books.
because you
We
wanna
banned the
call me
comic
a
books.
bigot. I'm not a bigot. I'm not a bigot. If it was for straight comic books,
No,
Okay,
you're
okay.
not. If you were a bigot, it would be better. You're just
Straight comic books, you
retarded.
can
We
cut
get
it.
it.
Cut the straight comic books. Cut the straight initiatives. You can
Okay,
cut
we got
them
it. We got it.
all.
We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it.
Okay,
We got it.
so
We got it.
just real quick. So I understand
strong
that
man.
that Dragonfist and Gibbs, you guys aren't bigots. You're not doing this for some ideological reason. For you, it really
Right.
is all about the waste, fraud, and abuse.
It's about
Okay.
destroying America. To be clear. Yeah.
See, I want to show you this. I just want to show you this because Doge is in fact ending on July 4th. That's how long the mandate was for Doge, and it just came out today, in fact, that the Trump administration will not be doing a Doge after action report. They have no intention of actually revealing what Doge has looked into, what Doge has cut. There's going to be no accountability for what's happened with Doge. Does that not bother you at all?
Have they not already revealed things they've cut?
No.
How is that not a fair question, Destiny?
Because
saying
you don't
they're
even
not reporting
understand what he's
anything that they
asking.
cut.
It's an
Have they
auditing.
reported
Oh,
things
sorry,
that
keep
they
filibustering.
cut?
My bad. I thought you asked me a question. Go ahead, keep filibustering. Say the same thing 7
Go ahead,
times and then get
answer.
3 examples that are the same thing. Go ahead. Oh, I can actually answer? The reason why what you said was funny is because the job of the thing was to cut stuff. And when he asked, you know how efficient it was, you said, well, didn't they cut stuff? An audit would be, how did the actual organization itself perform? Not, did they cut something? It's funny because you're not even understanding how to audit. The auditor means that you're too stupid to even evaluate whether or not the auditor audited anything. You're fucking retarded.
Dude, you say it that way, but that's not what I said. I said, didn't they report things that they cut? My next sentence would have been for which to audit them. Like, you have to report it, right?
And he just said they didn't do the audit. He said they did not do the audit. The audit's not happening. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Is it not a problem? Wait, hold on. Is it not a problem to you that
I was asking if they reported things they cut? Like, why is that? You said they're not reporting anything.
Let me just really finish this real quick. So they're not actually revealing what Doge has done. They're keeping that quiet.
Based.
The Trump administration is not doing a Doge after action report. Additionally, Doge is under the umbrella of the OMB, which is the Office of Management and Budget, which actually does this sort of government efficiency stuff. They're the office that looks into this. And in the 2027 budget that the Republicans are putting forward as what they want to fund next year, they are eliminating 1,000 jobs from the Government Accountability Office, and this came out I think a couple weeks ago, and it's in this bill here, which we're not going to go through because it's a huge bill. But the summary of it,
I want to go through line by line with you. No, I'm just kidding.
It says that they're cutting 1,000 jobs from the Government Accountability Office. So how can you sit here and care about this topic and not know that the Republicans are actually doing far worse on it? They're cutting the office that is meant to be reporting on what Doge actually did. They're cutting the people who should be looking after all of this waste, fraud, and abuse.
Wait, I mean, can I ask you a question real quick? So,
the funding. I want them to answer that real quick.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
If you can, want me to take it?
But
I think please.
Yeah, I would have to look into exactly the claims that you're making before I responded to it.
Assume they're true.
Are you asking how I feel about it? Is that your question? Like how I feel about the fact that they're eliminating jobs? There could be several. I mean, we know that they're done, right? Like they're no longer moving forward. So what are they supposed to do? Themselves be wasteful? That would also be pretty fucking stupid. Like if they're not operating anymore, of like why? What would be the logical conclusion then? Like, isn't this exactly what they should be doing?
Well, doesn't the Government Accountability Office need to exist going forward to examine future cases? Why are they cutting 1,000 workers from that?
Well, this is my real question. Is I don't particularly enjoy that I don't get an after action report. However, one good thing about having opposing parties is I'm sure that some of y'all are going to go and get them on something, and they're going to go before Congress. We're going to get some testifying and seeing behind, or we're going to have committees doing that's part of the whole system anyway. So yeah, would I like them to give an after action report? Sure, but if I do worry, no, because I'm sure it's all going to come out. Secondly, yeah, I mean, I don't mind them cutting 1,000 jobs. We're finding out there's inefficient stuff and redundancy all the time. I think this is a part of any business, and like I hate to run the U.S. government like a business. But sometimes you do need to do this. I think bureaucracies, I have a big business, right? And one of the things that'll happen is you get too many paperwork, you have too many redundant people, and every so often you have to go in there and you light a little fire and you fire a couple people and you go, oh shit, we did need this person, we didn't need that person. You either rehire them at a higher rate, but now you can afford that because I fired 5 people that I didn't need and I just need the 1. And so you go and look and kind of go through. I think this is just kind of the process. I think that right here we're seeing, oh, okay, y'all been bitching about Doge getting expanded. Hey, now they're getting folded into this and they're cutting 1,000 people. You should be happy.
Okay, just real quick. This is the statement from the Appropriations Committee chair, and she said, "The Government Accountability Office is one of our most valuable tools to improve efficiency and effectiveness across the government. It is astonishing that for all the talk about finding and rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, House Republicans are cutting resources for the watchdog that is tasked with precisely that role."
Who's this?
This is the Appropriations Committee chair.
Okay, and so
we do got get other people in. Okay, I hate to cut off this back and forth, right? But Alish has a question. Go ahead, Alish.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, when was the last time Doge did an audit? So like when did they storm whatever building that they were going into and audited it? Nobody? Last year?
I don't need you.
Well, do you want me to answer? Because I know, but I'm on your side here.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can answer it.
I'm not really sure
the last time that Doge did anything was like December of 2025.
Right. So December of 2025. So do you find it a problem that they've been funded since then to now, and they haven't done anything? They're just sitting there, not doing anything? Isn't that the definition of waste?
Well, one, like I said already previously, we already have Pete Hegseth and Caroline Levitt both have mentioned different things they've done at different times. They've mentioned.
I'm sorry, I said Doge, not those individual people.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. But they mentioned that Doge is the one that did this within their organizations. So yeah, I'm just one of those. Is the
what did they cut?
What
have they cut since December? What have they cut since December?
I mean, one of them. Listen, you can go look up specifically. I know for the contracts was the Pete Hegseth one. I don't remember what Caroline Levitt said, but she mentioned like 8 different things. When some reporter asked her recently, I'm sure somebody could Google AI that. I'm sure that's a fine thing. But also, like, once again, you know, this was supposed to be a short-term thing. And like, I find this conversation rich when you point this out. Oh, it's funded through this period of time. Whenever Republican, this is really just like he pointed at the other guy and go, hey, what about them? Because we pointed out all these things that were like, hey, these are funded through this period and we can't do anything with them. And you're like, oh, well, you have to fund it. You have to do it.
This entire argument is whataboutism. You understand that, right?
That's literally what I just said.
No. Because are you saying that the entirety? Right? Are you saying that every single thing that Trump has done during this term has not been waste, fraud, and abuse? No, everything's been perfect. Everything. No, we've not wasted any money. Not a single dollar.
Hold on. Let me just see if the ghost of Christmas Past is in here, because I've already bitched about several things just in this debate alone that I didn't like.
Right. So why are we?
I mean, like.
So let's take your complaint and then compare it to my complaint. So your complaint is what, like transgender books?
That was not my complaint. That's not my complaint.
It was a complaint that was brought up. Whatever bullshit complaint you brought up, it doesn't even compare to the type of shit that's been happening. I mean, like, you have these no bid contracts that have been going on. Like, you have like
I don't like that either.
Spent $220 million for ads for immigration. They've had ads being put up for all sorts of bullshit. Everything that Trump's done. You have, multiple things being cut. The Department of Education, the Department of Science, Medical Research, National Science Foundation, National Institute of Health. Where did that money go? What about all the?
Wait, hold on. I don't want to. Once again, this is like you're talking about ads. Every government that in U.S. history that I can recall in my lifetime, when they push forth a program or a new agency has put forth ads to say, "Hey, let's sell the American public on this." That's just part of the budget for those organizations.
There already there's a department already for that, and they paid a no big contract to a different company to produce ads. You understand that, right?
Have they produced those ads?
Don't you know that there is the United States Digital Services that already exists? So why? I mean,
if you want to talk about like a redundant thing, like the entire Doge program is redundant because, like, friend, you keep bringing up Hegseth. The Department of Defense has an Office of Inspector General. They already have that. That's what their job is. So the idea that you would add another auditor, especially by a guy who's too incompetent to even audit, I'm not aware. Actually, funny question. Here's a question: can you point me to a single audit that Doge has done? A single audit they've produced?
I don't have that information. Sure, maybe they haven't been.
Wait, you know so many other things about all the. Is that kind of crazy to you? But the answer is none. By the way, they haven't because they can't. They're not capable of doing it. They're incompetent.
I mean,
there's not a single audit that they've done.
They said there wasn't trade deals, and you said that was a thing.
And there haven't been. That's true too. There aren't any trade deals.
There are trade deals. Once again, I just mentioned Strait of Malacca deal. We have this deal with Indonesia now. Like, these are deals that are passed already.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Oh, the TRIPS plan isn't a thing. That's not a thing.
A verbal agreement about like one tariff rate or whatever? No, that is not a trade deal. No,
that is not what the TRIPS plan is, but that's good. That's part of the encirclement of Iran thing, where we have Azerbaijan. We've guaranteed the safety and security of.
What are we encircling? The only thing we're encircling Iran in is giant bags of money. That's what we're encircling Iran in, because they're about to be more loaded than they've ever been in the history.
Once again, the TRIPS deal is a thing.
One last thing from Alice, and we got to cycle you out.
Wait, what was the country? What was the country that we were insuring?
I can't hear.
You have her blocked or her volume turned down then?
Yeah. So, what is the? I'm sorry,
and she's not muted.
Distracted. So, what country we're ensuring the security of a country? Is that what you said? Azerbaijan? Is that what you said?
No, we are ensuring that now that that's the TRIPS deal. It's going to have an oil and natural gas pipeline. Right there.
Tier 5 subjects. Oh my God!
In that region, so we're doing a deal with them, and I believe another country. I forget which one of their neighbors. In order to supply this, it's basically going to be equivalent to what they're arguing is the Panama Canal over land for this area, and which is going to bypass Iran and bypass Russian interests. So that is a good thing.
Well, is that not investing? So investing in other countries doesn't really matter to you. So it's okay to invest in other countries. Investing in other countries is fine to you, but doing things like humanitarian is like out of the picture for you. That's why I don't understand. Like, why do you have such a problem with USAID? Like, I don't get it.
because USAID was inefficient and corrupt and were not working. And
corrupt. The
Okay.
entire administration
Okay,
is corrupt.
Alice.
Like, it's crazy.
Alice,
Okay,
thank
bye.
you.
I love you.
Be careful. Bye.
Have a good day.
Actually, I have a question for you, Gibbs, real quick.
Sure.
Just okay. You and Destiny are going back and forth, and Destiny brought up the fact that the communists hate that, or no, the communists love that USAID is going away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. I just.
Okay. Yeah. So, how come you believe that USAID was propping up socialist governments in the third world?
I would argue. Yeah. That's. I mean, I posted the. I can give you the article once again.
Well, sure. But aren't those two positions contradictory?
No, because the
they're not.
communists are wrong and he's right, you idiot. Fucking moron. What a stupid
Thank
thing,
you.
Dev. I got you, Admiral. Don't worry.
Appreciate it. Good man. That's what I'm talking about. No, I mean, I think that it's. I would argue though that it's not totally socialist. Like there's different levels, bro. I mean, like we all know it's incremental. There's different levels on foreign policy when it comes to different countries. Like obviously, Juche is way different than say like Maoism, or we have all these different forms of communism. So yeah, I would say like when you have socialist elements in some of these countries, especially in left-leaning Latin America, they're working their way in. They start here and then they go down the thing. I don't want to say slippery slope fallacy, but we can look at Maduro and Chavez as being good examples of where they go with the extreme once they get in power, and then they go look. And this is part of their destruction. They try to subvert the liberal world order from within. Would be my argument.
$20.
Okay,
Just real quick.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
From Skeptical Ninja for $20. Can we get a yes or no from Gibbs on if he's using Grok for his research during this debate?
I am not using Grok. I was using my hand. No, I didn't use Grok for during this debate.
Gibbs, can you
Also,
prove that?
hold on, wait, I'm sorry, hold on.
Gibbs, I'm
because
gonna need
whoever-
you to prove that.
I don't actually, whoever donated that is retarded. I don't give a fuck. If people want to Google things or use Grok or whatever for debates, that's totally fine. Just don't lie about it. That's the only thing I care. If somebody's like, oh, let me ask Grok this thing, who cares? Fine,
Well,
look it up. We can look it
and-
up. I don't want to be clear
well,
on that.
also-
Jesus.
Yeah, and like I want to echo that. I also, when I said I was looking something up, I had, like I said, in my Discord, I have a huge foreign policy section with all these different countries, so I had to scroll and find the exact thing. So, like, I like to have my sources posted for this exact
Just a
situation.
public service announcement. If you don't know something, it's perfectly acceptable to look it up.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. $5 from It's Vishy. We have fraud. We have waste, fraud, and abuse. End quote. Fires the inspector general.
Based.
Fair enough. $5 from Tip. Destiny. How do you debate people who rather live in lies to suit their own ego than accept reality?
One debate at a time, I guess.
$5 from JKL. Why does Andrew have a condenser mic when it sounds worse than a laptop? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah. $5 from Politics JK. Crazy how narrow the Trump supporters always have to keep topics because if their principles are examined, they become incoherent. $10 from JT89. Do you understand that PEPFAR drugs prevent transmission of HIV to the children of infected mothers? Knowing that, do you still support cutting it and increasing HIV transmission to children?
Once again, I'm willing to reevaluate and look, but not under the current USAID system. And once again, this is a self-caused problem. So potentially, yes, I would be okay with cutting it.
I do agree with that, because if we
Splash
just let the moms die of AIDS, then there won't be any kids to die of AIDS. So that's kind of true, I guess, yeah.
Good one.
$5 from Splashmock to say Dan Saltman said not to donate, so make sure to divert all Israeli funds to WIC TV. Ye never lose. You know what? I will take any money that comes my way. Thank you for the $5, I suppose. Go ahead, new caller guy. New caller guy, you have a question?
Yeah, so just to go back a bit, kind of at the beginning of the section, you said something about, I had this whole little game about you giving me financial advice planned, but I thought this would be much more interesting for the audience because I don't know what your public position is on this. So you were talking about Elon Musk, and you said, quoting here, "We know why he's pushing for it. He's South African. Look out for your people. I know who my people are. I want to help out." And then I think you had a stroke for like a half a second there. And I
Sure.
assume what you meant to say was that.
I'm Mexican. I went immigration reform.
I assume that you mean people on the team, right? People that you're related to, family, friends, whatnot. So
Sure.
I have a couple questions about this quote. When you said, "We know why he's pushing for it," right? He's South African. What is it?
Well, yeah. So I'm ethnically Mexican, right? My real dad's from Mexico, right? Like he's illegal. This is a true story. I want to.
It might be true, but it's not relevant. What does
It is-
Musk mean?
hold on,
What
I'm
did
trying
you
to
mean
answer.
And also,
here?
Mexican
Say
is not
it.
an ethnicity, just but it's okay.
Sure, cool. It's a country.
What
whatever.
does he mean by what?
Okay,
What do you mean when
yeah,
you
answer.
say
Just
it?
just let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Yeah. So my point is, right? Like I want a strong border, but I also want immigration reform. I want to change how it's done. I want to make it easier for people who want to come here to work, right? So I want to look out for my people of my heritage. You know, I have a strong, Hispanic heritage. I can understand when he comes from South Africa that he might want to look out for people of a similar heritage and want them to maybe not die. Like, I mean, and it's not a crazy leap for me. Do you? Just,
Okay, that's the why. That might be the why. I'll accept that might be the why. What is the it?
What do you mean by that? Like the it?
When you say we know why he is pushing for it,
Yeah,
we know why. We know that the reason that he wants to do
helping
the
this
things
stuff.
he's doing is because, like, he wants to protect his people. He wants to protect
he wants to
what he
protect
views as his
South
homeland. So, what is the it? What is the action that he is hoping to take to achieve this end? What is the
Correct me-
it that
yes,
that the why
correct
is
me if I'm wrong.
justifying?
I believe this was a response to something that Mr. Destiny asked me about, like, would I support cutting aid to South Africans because Elon Musk said it. And I said, sure, I would be okay with cutting aid to South Africans because fuck them. But like, hey, I can understand why Elon, a person who's got South African descent, would push for it being the aid or the refugee status.
No. When Elon Musk says
Does that make
it, what
sense?
the
Anybody get
it
confused about
is
that?
in his
What that
worldview,
Jesus statement?
what the it is a return to an apartheid South Africa, right?
That is not what I'm talking about
But
in context of the question that was asked to me.
we know why he's pushing for it. He is South
Yeah.
African. The why is because he wants to protect his people. He wants to protect white South Africans, right?
What was
And
the
the
question?
it that he wants to do in order to achieve that end is a return to apartheid, right?
Yeah, but that was not the question I was asked. The question I was asked was about. Did anybody mention anything about apartheid South Africa?
No.
Okay, thank you. I just making sure.
No.
I'm not
It's about
going
your
crazy.
characterization of Musk. It's about your characterization because I think that what you see, like a lot of the arguments that you've made, right? Like you want to say you're not MAGA, but that's clearly a lie. We can all see that's a lie. You know that's a lie. And this game that you seem to be playing, it's actually real life for some of us. And the fact that you treat it like a reality TV show, like this is just some game that you can play because it won't hurt you or affect you. It's gross and it's disgusting, and I can't stand it.
Jesus loves you.
So, yeah.
Groceries are
So when you want to characterize a particular action, right? What you're saying is that if you view Musk, and I have this whole line, I can still walk you down to prove
Sure.
that Musk is a Nazi.
Wait, we do have a line, so
Yeah, sure. But the point is that you're willing to ally yourself with Nazis, right? So when you say you're not MAGA, that's obviously a lie, right?
Okay, you can respond, and then we got a cycle.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just real quick. One, I don't like Nazis. If anybody's ever heard my take on old fucking Nazi points, then you'll know I don't like Nazis.
Did
Two,
Musk do a Nazi salute?
fuck if I know. Maybe I don't know. Listen,
Okay.
he's South African. He's
Okay.
probably racist. He's probably
Wow.
racist. Who knows? Like, I mean,
Wow.
sure, but like, listen. Here's my point. Once again, that was not the
Okay.
question I was asked. I don't support any apartheid bullshit. I was asked about why, if I supported Elon Musk aid and refugee status to South Africans, and my response was fuck them. No, and now you're still trying to push this on me.
Why
like,
do you
hey,
think he was arguing
buddies.
against USAID in South Africa?
Probably because, once again, he has national interests in South Africa.
what is his
and family
goal?
ties.
Okay.
What is his goal into
I don't know.
destroying
Am I-
USAID in
am
South
I-
Africa?
What is my name? Is it Elon Musk? How the fuck would I
Oh,
know?
I'm sorry. I forgot Mens Rea doesn't exist in the world anymore. I forgot that we can
Okay.
never know the intention of somebody based on their actions. My bad. I'm sorry, Wick. I'll go
No,
now.
you're fine.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Gibbs. You've won. Congratulations.
I didn't know I was trying. Okay. Jesus, listen.
Okay, $5 from JKL. Andrew's argument being fundamentally about federal debt, then accusing Destiny of moving the goalposts when he brings it up, is pure Kino. $5 from Merlot to say, Trump voters, if you were to go back in time in 2024, would you still vote for Trump, considering he's contributed 1/3 of the debt and spent more than Biden? That's a good question. Would you?
You're asking, was that
Yeah.
question for me or Gibbs?
Both of you, if you could go back in time to 2024 and change your vote, would you, knowing what you do now, would you do so?
I
Would
would go to California and vote under some other person's name.
I don't know if I no, I would not have voted for Kamala and Tim Walz. I think that would have been even worse than the mess we're in now. Just let me tell you one thing, Wick. I got to get out of here in about 10 minutes. I got about 10 minutes left. About 9 p.m.
10 minutes. We'll speed run the people who pay me money then. $20 from CBS Smith to say, it's impressive. We finally have a conservative panelist, less intelligent than Gibbs. Be nice, gang. But thank you for the $20. It's very nice. $10 from Neolib Shitlord. How can Admiral Gibbs and the other useful idiots sleep at night while living with so much cognitive dissonance? Okay. $5 from C Dubba. What about Trump investing in Dell and giving them a $9.7 billion Department of Defense contract? Thoughts on that?
Starts with what about? It sounds like whataboutism. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look up the specific details of it. I'm not familiar with that specific.
Did he invest, or did a trust he own invest and like doesn't manage directly? Because that was the argument I heard about Nancy Pelosi and her husband. So, or is his kids doing it? Like, what is the? Because that's literally what I heard on this panel. So it seems like I need some more specifics.
Just real quick, why do you guys think that Kamala Harris would have been worse? What's your why is that your view?
Is that for me?
Yeah, go
Both.
ahead.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, again, if we're talking, it's not lost on me that we're talking about fraud and abuse, and her running mate was Tim Walz. You know, so to me, just opening up the floodgates for fraud at home, for a complete waste at home, would have been worse to me. And I feel like that's
but what fraud and abuse? Wait.
What
What is that? What
the exact same thing.
What is the Walz thing relevant for? I don't understand.
Huh?
What is the Walz thing relevant for? I don't understand.
Well, because he was in charge in Minnesota.
He was, but like any
That's the state where it was
investigation,
happening.
sure.
So if you're
Any
so
investigation,
incompetent
keep
to
filibustering. Keep
let
going.
that
Keep going.
much fraud
Dance.
be facilitated in your area,
Yep.
then I would think that
so
it would be.
all
it
of
would
these
be worse.
investigations and everything that was caught relating
Yes,
to this was
why
done
I
by
thought
the.
it would be
Keep
worse.
dancing.
I told you.
Keep
You
dancing.
gotta-
No, he doesn't. No, he has to keep dancing because he knows he's fucking retarded, right? All of the investigations for that were led by the Biden Department of Justice. What the fuck has Trump's Department of Justice found in terms of novel fraud in Minnesota so far?
How many people were arrested? I think
Nothing.
it was like 90.
Nothing. Yeah, that was out off the Garland DOJ investigation, right? Trump's org hasn't found anything. You don't give a fuck about fraud. You only care because they're black or whatever other bullshit reason you have.
No, if it was any fraud, I would care. My whole thing is let's not waste and burn money. I don't know why that's like a racist or like hateful position.
Because you don't seem to have any
Let's
problem
just
with
not
Trump doing
waste
it in
and
record
burn
amounts.
money.
You don't even.
It's the
I don't know
most-
if Kamala, to
it's
be
the
honest,
most-
I don't even know if Kamala could waste as much money as Trump has. It's just like you're on a whole different level of corruption and fraud and wasteful government spending. And the idea that they would have somehow managed to spend as much it's not rooted in reality between the people. It's not rooted in the reality of the Biden admin versus the Trump admin. Like even now we can see that Trump has wasted more money than even the craziest liberal would have guessed he would have. But for some reason it's like, well, no, I still think Kamala would have wasted more. Why? Because it's like axiomatic to you. You can't even fathom it.
Well, we actually have like a pretty good one-to-one comparison. Yeah, there's like a really good one-to-one comparison here that we can actually go through because there was the Feeding Our Future fraud in Minnesota. That was $250 million that was discovered and prosecuted under Biden, right? So we can actually point out that, okay, even if you think that these fraudsters were left-leaning, it was a left-leaning government that reined them in. Okay. Now, we have a similar situation where Kristi Noem is currently defending herself against $220 million of potential fraudulent spending. Do you think that Trump's going to rein her in? I mean, she lost her job, but is she getting charged? Is she going to jail the same way that the Feeding Our Future guy went to jail?
If that's true, then she should.
She should, but will she? Will Trump do it?
But I'm not defending my position. So again, you guys are trying to like crucify me.
To be clear, you are defending Trump because you said you would vote for him. That's how voting works. You don't get to separate the good from the bad. You have to pick a candidate. Trump is your guy.
Yeah, but you have to pick a lesser. Where were you the entire debate? Like, I'm about to get out of here. Now you're like super aggressive and coming after everything that I say. That's fine. You had nothing the entire time, but you could.
Good lies.
What?
Every time we bring up something, you go, "What about ism?" It's a pivot. And now you're like, "Oh, now you okay." That's all good.
It was
23
pivot.
Nobel Prize winning economists called Harris's economic plan vastly superior to Trump's, by the way.
Yeah,
if anyone actually cares about what's best for the economy and the deficit.
Some economists said that it was vastly
23
better.
Nobel Prize winning economists.
Yeah, but did you consider the economists that went on Joe Rogan?
Is that not significant to you?
You can put it in the chat and I'll read it. You're just assuming that it's
You
not.
can look it up.
Okay, I'll
Here,
look it up.
here,
Why are
Dragon
you
Fist,
so
Dragon
angry with me?
Fist.
I'm not angry with
Okay,
you.
let look.
Here,
He's
just
only
real
got a
quick,
limited
Dragon
amount of time.
Fist.
Yeah.
Dragon Fist, like I actually do think that you're a good faith actor. I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to jump down your throat here. I just think that you don't know what you're talking about, and I think there's a lot of reading you could do to get informed on these things. I don't think you're evil or anything.
But to your point that you just made, Dev, about this Kristi Noem, right? You're acting like he wouldn't go after her. All right. Do you remember he had John Bolton in his administration? John
Crush
just
my
got
balls, bro.
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
Trump
listen,
went
if
after
John
people
Bolton
after
was
he perceived them as backstabbing him. I can't even believe you would say that.
I'm
Oh my
just saying,
God.
he's pretty rich. You know, listen, if Noem backstabbed him with stealing.
So you
why
agree
wouldn't
that
he
no
go after-
authoritarian leader ever has ever been corrupt, right?
I didn't say that.
Why? All of them have gone after people in their party at some point. Saddam Hussein did it with a whole bunch of his leadership. Pretty sure Hitler cleared out some of his leadership. Stalin and Lenin and every single, and Putin, people have fallen out of windows there, right? All of these people have gone after. What is, sorry, that was an unbelievably stupid fucking.
Thank you. I actually agree. It is unbelievably stupid because that's the point you just made about Biden and fucking the administration in Minnesota when we've clearly expanded the fraud search from Minnesota.
But the difference
to
is that those
California.
people weren't
So you made
directly
the
employed by
argument-
Biden. They weren't working for him. They didn't have the same last name like all of Trump's corrupt fucking losers do. They weren't in his cabinet.
And now we're finding more fraud than ever before.
No, we're not. No, we're not anywhere. Really not. Well, we're finding more fraud as the public as we're watching our president commit more fraud. True.
Over 800 indictments is what I'm looking at. Up between 800 between California and Minnesota right now, and other states. So I'm sitting here seeing fraud. They're obviously going after it. So hey, listen. Either it's okay for them to go after people in their own party, like these left-leaning people in Somalia, the Somalis that he did with Feeding Our Future, or it's not when you're considering John Bolton. It seems like kind of a nice little double backflip you got going here.
He also went after Cohen too, right? He also went out true. Trump went after so many of his allies. You're so right. You're so right, bro.
So Noem throws him under the bus, or they sit here and does some kind of fraud shit. You don't think he's gonna go after him? I feel like, obviously he would. So what's your point?
If you want to
here,
make
Dan?
a bet right now, Gibbs, do you think that Kristi Noem's going to
Jail,
the Trump
maybe?
administration? Do you think that they're going to go after Kristi Noem? I'll bet you $50 right now that they do not before the end of this
year. The year? No, she absolutely is not going to get charged for the end of the year.
Okay. What about 2028?
I mean, by
for as long as Trump's in office.
Yeah, I'll do it all the way to Trump's office. She might get charged.
How about this? Wait. How about a $50 on this? Do you think that anybody from the SPLC is going to be convicted?
Who knows? Maybe. Probably.
Maybe you were citing that indictment as good as gold earlier. How do you feel about the indictments for Trump's classified documents in Mar-a-Lago?
I think the homegirl that was giving money to her lover is definitely going to get charged with a crime and convicted. Yes.
Okay. We'll see.
$10 from Caller Online 1. Republicans being the party of Lincoln is not a flex. He was still racist as fuck, but once the Northern Dems started supporting civil rights, the Southern Dems and churches jumped ship and voted Republican. That $20 from Ripped Cripper. MAGAs with humiliation fetish get obliviated. Embarrass these people back into the bigot closet to save America. Thank you for the $20. $10 from Anyon. I live in Deep Red, Georgia, and we learned about the party realignment in 8th fucking grade. $5 from Bad Company. Gibbs looks like a villain in a trans comic book.
I hear the gays have good style, so I'll take it as a compliment.
Okay. Oh, and my YouTube froze. That's wonderful. I know you had to go, Mr. Andrew. Do you have any closing words for our audience?
No, I appreciate the debate. I enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone. We can, look at some of these other topics in the future. Just the only thing that struck me is people like saying to fucking unalive yourself. I don't know how we got that far. I was trying to be good faith, and we could do better than that. So that's all.
Yeah, super chatter, naughty. Okay,
right?
When you send me money, say better things, but thank you for the money anyway. But naughty, super.
Rick, can I ask?
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Thank you.
Before you go, Andrew, my love.
Sure,
please.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Oh my God, you came in pretty hot on the transgender comic thing, right? Like you were like transgender comic. Like you were pretty hot on it, right?
Sure. Not really. It was in my list. She just cited it as not true, and then we got into it wasn't something I was particularly
Right.
passionate
We
about.
got into it, and then you kind of walked it back to gay, and you were like, a gay comment. And they're like,
Yeah,
well,
they
it
said
was
it was a gay
one
comment. I don't
character
care
and
any
one.
comment. We shouldn't be.
But like, hold on. Just let me just real quick here, and then you go and say that if it was a heterosexual comic, I would have cared about it. So, do you classify everything in your life as transgender, straight, gay? Like, why would you even come out saying transgender comic?
That's how it was listed.
If it doesn't matter to you, if it doesn't
that's
matter,
how it was listed, so they would know what I was
so
referencing.
you weren't coming in.
See
you
what
weren't
you're
coming
doing
in
here.
hot on that.
What you're doing here is
Come on, man.
exactly
You were
the
coming in
point.
so
It's
hot.
exactly the
Come on,
point.
dude.
You're a bad
This is what I'm
person if
saying.
you
You're
even
so
talk
bad
about
faith,
it.
dude.
Here's the point.
You're so bad faith. You came in and say
policies.
transgender comic.
I don't care if
Get you
it's
riled up on
transgender.
the
We shouldn't be
transgender
standing on
stuff.
any comics. Like this
It's
one just
fucking
happened to be a
topical, dude.
transgender one, and that's the point. Is that this shields it from I can't mention it or I'm like a transphobe. That's the point.
So
Of this
whether or not
rhetoric.
the
So I
sexuality had
can't
anything to
criticize
do
the
with it,
policy
none of
because
that
for some
mattered.
reason
The
you think I
entire
care
point you
that it's
brought up to
and you
begin
get
with
what I'm
was
saying.
transgender comic. Come on.
I'm staying to answer your question. I'm trying to explain to you. I don't care what kind of comic it is. I don't think we should be
So then
wasting
why would
money
you
on
start
that
out
stuff
with that?
overseas.
Why wouldn't you just
This
say
one
we
just
were
happens
funding
to
a
be
comic?
Huh?
Why wouldn't you say we were funding a comic? If
That's
it has
how it was
nothing to
listed.
do with sexuality. So you just read it off of a list and developed the whole entire thing about it? You didn't do any looking
but it
into
gives
it,
them reference
research,
to exactly what I was talking about because words have meaning. Like, is it like offensive to talk about? I don't understand. Like,
Hold on,
did it
but hold on. Well, let me help.
Why is this even a thing? That's what it was.
Let me help
That's
though.
the program they were paying.
If I kept mentioning something, and I'm like, those fucking black criminals. And I kept talking every time it was a black criminal. I would be like, a black criminal was doing this. Would it be right to maybe question, like, hey, maybe this guy's a little racist?
But he didn't have black people for breakfast.
Because that's what he does all the time. That's his grift.
No, it's not a grift. I'm telling you that I'm not for any comic books. You just don't want to accept my answer.
Face right now. He knows
ones just happen to be. I also had a problem with the DEI in Serbia. Like it's not.
You don't know why, but you still don't know why that was a thing.
That's wasteful. And if you're showing me that it's not wasteful, then I don't have a problem with
you
it.
You assume it is because you just hear these little jingling keywords like DEI or transgender, and you run with it. You fall for it because you can't tell apart a good source.
It's obviously an ideological thing for you, man, and that's fine. If you just admit that,
we can have.
It's not an ideal. I said that I'm not for the war in Iran for the same reason.
This is what we'll do. This is what we'll do.
For the same reason.
On another day, we will have Andrew on all by himself, and he will just take calls, and you guys can. It will be Andrew versus the world.
You can rip me apart.
Yeah,
I'm fair on both sides, man. I'm not for things that are wasteful from the right either. I'm really not.
I didn't mention those.
Okay, well, thank you for coming.
I'm not for the war in Iran. That's what I said. Like, how did I not mention it? I just don't get you. You just don't even hear it. It like goes right through because you want to hate me so much. That's really what's going on. Like you want me to be a bigot so bad, but I really don't care if it's a straight comic book or a gay comic book. I don't think we should be paying for it because it's wasteful. Is that fair?
You thinking it's wasteful is
that's totally fair. So where can we find you out there, Andrew? What are your ads?
You can find me at Dragon Fist TV on YouTube.
Check them out.
Awesome.
Or TikTok or Twitter. I just started the Twitter, but they're all at Dragon Fist TV. Instagram.
Yeah, check them out.
And I will come back. I promise. Thank you guys.
I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Wick. Second most important thing, Destiny, you've got to promote your event July 10th. Otherwise, you're
working on it.
Shit.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for calling in, Robert. Okay.
I've got to take off in a minute too, as well. I've got 2 more questions, and I can ask them
2
quick.
more
and
questions.
You've
had like 20 questions, man.
And then I can leave. They'll be quick.
Quickly.
Okay. So
I got like a dozen super, more than that. I gotta get through
I
my
completely understand. Okay, Gibbs, real quick. 1, why didn't the Republicans pass legislation in Congress to cut spending properly? Would that not be the way to go about it rather than doing all this bullshit?
depends on what you mean by that. Like, give me an example. Like, how do you want like cut spending properly to be done in your mind? What is it?
Well, if you wanted USAID to be cut, they should have passed a bill cutting USAID rather than doing it through the executive, right?
Potentially. The issue is that, like, when we look at like our division of powers between the three branches, every president since forever has tried to expand the presidency, right, and to use executive orders to expand it, and that really started even more so like under Bush and Cheney, and then it extended all the way under Obama and now to Trump, right? Like, so we're like going through this, everyone. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they always try to use the executive first. People look to the executive to be like a leader, so that's not a surprise to me. I would have expected the Dems to do it. I wouldn't even blame them for that, right? Like, but I do think that maybe legislation was the proper way to do it, but that's not how they chose to go about it first. And Trump has also done a thing very interesting where he's done these push these things with the executive order, and then he gets sued, and he goes to the Supreme Court and either wins or loses. But then things are defined. And I think part of his strategy is to get certain powers defined so that people either can or can't use them going forward, as opposed to some of these nebulous kind of like ideas that we've had going forward. Or at least if it's not Trump, someone in his administration is pushing that agenda. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Whether you agree or disagree is a whole different thing. I'm sure.
Okay.
I think there's problems with that, but I understand, and we don't have time to get into it right now. The last thing before I get out of here then is, I know that you watched my J6 video all the way through, and you even complimented me on it.
I did watch it.
And you said it gave you a whole lot to think about. So I just have to, and like, you are probably the nicest right-winger I've met in a long time. Why do you still believe all the sloppulous stuff, given that? How is it that you exist in your current headspace when you saw me lay out all the J6 evidence and you're like, oh, you give me a lot to think about. That's actually all these things I haven't seen before. I don't understand you.
So with the J6 thing, this is an issue, right? I keep looking at this and I keep going, and I'm looking at all these things, and maybe it's whataboutism, maybe it's like just like taking like where we're at as a whole. Like I think the J6 thing, as bad as it is or it isn't, right? Like it's more of a symptom and not the real like problem, right? Whether you think it's Trump, whether you think it's rhetoric, whether you think I think it's so bad to the point that where we have almost alternate news sources. Like if I say, oh, I'll give you a source, say the New York Post. Right, people are going to go, I don't accept that as a source, right? Or like, or you'll use a House committee like we did today, and someone's like, I'm not going to accept that because I don't believe this government president. And so it like gets to this point, like, yeah, I think you make valid points. I think you're earnest, right? And so when you're making these points, I'm listening, like, yeah, it's convincing. I just like, I guess when I'm a voter, it really comes down to what I vote on, and I vote locally, and I say this all the time. The January 6th thing, like, didn't it affects us as a nation potentially, but it failed. If it was a coup, it was a really bad one. Right. And I wasn't backed by any of the branches. Trump didn't send in the paramilitary. Like, I mean, if there was the problem was, they're not real effective, bros. Like, I mean, like, I'm just sitting here, like, looking at it. And you know what's more scary as a conservative was the group of guys that took over the Michigan governor's office. And those were a conservative group. We shouldn't have armed groups take over like a Michigan government houses. This is a Republican group that did this, right? Like our token. Like, that's more terrifying to me than say what like the January 6th things, which seems like unorganized mob behavior. Like, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't know. It's also not a high vote.
Did that answer your question?
For now.
Okay. We can talk about it more later, I'm sure.
Sure. Thanks for having me on, Wick. I know I'm just a caller, but thanks for having me here anyway.
Yep.
You guys have fun.
Yep.
See ya.
All tons of fun. Tons and tons. $5 from Parallax to say Gibbs is fat, or Gibbs is trans fat.
Jesus.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right, see ya.
See ya. $5 from Nobody Chef. I'll be sure to tell my David Duke supporting uncle that he is in fact a Democrat. Today I learned there was no party switch. Revisionist history is wild. $5 from No Flame. Please, can someone ask Sister Fister why he is so disconnected from reality? Bro has his own personal fanfic on every subject. $5 from Last Bastion. Can we get names of all the people who were charged for corruption as a result of Doge? If they found any, we should have at least one name, no?
Not a single one. Kind of crazy, given that supposedly they found so much corruption.
Well, sorry, I missed that.
Did Doge charge anybody? Did we get any charges from the DOJ for corruption due to what Doge found, supposedly?
No,
we didn't.
I'm not sure.
Not even close. The fraud was less than. So they did an audit, and the fraud was found percentage-wise to be like 0.3%. Mind you, the total budget is already only 1% of the budget. So we're talking about 0.3% of a 1% of the total budget. But hey, expect that Doge stimulus check anytime.
Oh yeah, the Doge stimulus check. I forgot about that.
I did not. I didn't. Yeah, that's crazy. $10 from Mr. HHK. We need the comics to create more trans Tifa soldiers overseas for national security. Okay, thank you for that. $10 from Boredom. The guy who keeps pinning Republican racism on the SPLC is snorting Iranian nuclear-enriched copium. I think that was you, Gibbs.
It was me that said that. And listen, if you can find me some, I'll try it. You know.
Lunatic Thinker for $5. Conservatives give everyone in NATO, threatens invading allies, and goes surprised Pikachu when Spain refuses to let U.S. use their bases there. I think he missed the word. Gives everyone in NATO the finger, I believe. I don't know. $2 from Greggio. Tell Gibbs to look up Nixon's Southern Strategy. $10 Carler Online. The Doge guys in deposition admitted that all they did was Control plus F when they deciding what to cut, and that was it. They ultimately cut $20 billion out of the $2 trillion Elon claimed he could. Does that not, Gibbs, does that not suggest like that they were doing a very bad job? Well, do you think that Doge did a bad job overall? Let's start there.
I would say mixed results. It's not what I'd hoped for, but it's better than nothing, right? Like, so there's, and it's above the 50% line, because sometimes you do something that's like a token thing where they like give you something like the border bill, like a while back, like they always told us, oh, Trump shut down the border bill. There's a reason why like people in Texas revolted and said, oh, we can't have this in here, right? Like in some other ones, because it wasn't enough. It was like just a piecemeal. I don't think Doge was attempted to be a piecemeal attempt at like
again, Doge cost us more than they saved.
Right. But hold on, hear me out. You're right. So like, yeah, but the thing is though, when you're going,
do you acknowledge that first of all?
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
Okay,
I'm sure you wouldn't be standing on your guns. I mean, I don't do.
So how was it good?
How was it good? Is what I'm saying is you have to start the ball somewhere. I think that it's clear that there's like clear bureaucracy, like overload. I think that we can all agree on that. Like if you've ever gone to the DMV,
so the solution to bureaucratic overload is to make another bureaucracy to check for bureaucratic overload.
They didn't even make a new bureaucracy. They expanded something that was already there, renamed it, and then like funded it. Like so, like yeah. I mean, this happens all the time.
Not really at all. No.
Like, I mean, like, listen. Do you think the ATF is redundant with the FBI? Like, to some degree, sure. Should we just get rid of the ATF?
What?
Like,
no.
I mean, they're both law enforcement agencies, right?
They do different things.
Sure, right. Do you think there's any crossover between the DEA, the ATF, and the FBI?
I'm sure there's a little bit of like crossover for cooperation, right?
Right. Exactly.
You know when we had no crossover at all? It was before 9/11. They complained about that.
I agree, right? But what I'm saying is, why wouldn't we just like, oh, okay, get rid of the ATF and lump them into the FBI? They're both security, like, what agencies? They both do similar things. Or maybe combine it with the DEA. We don't need, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is kind of the argument you're making here. Like,
why is it that no other country on the planet has figured out, like, these, like, obvious no-brainer conservative plans to make the government better? You ever notice that? That, like, there's not a single other country on the planet that seems to understand that you just have to, like, get rid of every single part of your government and then it makes your country way better?
That's what we're saying. I mean, this is once I don't want to be the guy yelling straw man, but like I didn't say get rid of every single part. I said take a look under the hood.
Well, sure, but I'm asking, like, can you think of a single country that's done like even 1/10 of the things that you're recommending?
Yeah, I mean, Argentina's doing it now. I mean,
is that who you want to be like? Argentina?
I mean, maybe. I mean, look, I'm sure
maybe?
there were other examples.
I want to hear that. I want to hear that. You want the United States of America to be more like Argentina.
I would like us to be more like Rome, which did do audits several times throughout the history, went and gutted programs and gutted people, and literally gutted people that were stealing and being corrupt. Like, I mean, this is something that's happened in major empires.
Yeah, so Rome is not. Rome doesn't exist anymore, really, right? I don't think so. I'm saying modern examples, like who are your successful countries that you're trying to emulate? Because it seems like conservatives have all these like very, very easy ideas, like, oh, we just need to do this and it'll be so much better. But literally no other government on the planet is doing any of the things you're saying. And all the most successful governments on the planet tend to do the exact opposite of what you're saying. So like what?
When do you think we were the peak, like peak American power? Probably like the 60s, 50s, 70s, in that range, right? Like when we were.
Why would you assume that? I would say we were at our peak in 91 when the fucking Soviet Union fell and America emerged as the leader of the planet. What do you mean?
Okay, 91's a good example. I just wanted to pick whatever example you wanted, right? Sure.
Well, I mean, but even past that, America continued to dominate. I mean, you could go past 91 as well. Okay. I mean, militarily, but like economically.
Hold on, the gap was bigger, the biggest than 91. You is what you're saying? Yes, correct. Like just for the sake.
Maybe. I mean, probably like late 90s, early 2000s, maybe would be a guess. But it would depend.
Okay, and would you agree that the government has grown since that time, and probably not in a more efficient manner? When we've expanded agencies all across the board, and we have more and more things, there's more overlord.
Yeah, because modern problems require modern solutions. So unfortunately, that might mean you have to expand part of your bureaucratic state. Sure.
We've also been
really
steadily cutting taxes for the rich.
So the gap has gone smaller.
Yes, wait. The gap has gotten smaller. But wait. The gap has gotten smaller.
We also spent a bunch of money on
the gap has gotten smaller because the other countries are leaving behind the things that you want to do. They're all becoming more globo homo. They're all like sending their kids all over the world to get educated in other Ivy League institutions. They're all liberalizing their trade and inviting foreign investment. What?
Because they're not having to spend in the military.
China and India are relying on the United States.
China and India are. No, not China.
What is China? What do we complain about China?
What
is our threat from China all the time? The fact that they can manufacture more textiles than us? No, we're worried about them catching up to us in AI. What are we worried about for other countries?
I'm not talking about just China though.
Yeah, but every single thing that you want to do.
Number one, but you have to watch out for the others as well.
But your idea of looking out for number one is the exact opposite of what every other successful country thinks will achieve that. Everything you want to do makes America weaker, and everybody on the planet agrees with that.
I disagree with him because what I'm saying is
thank you to Dragon Fist TV for the raid. I do appreciate you guys. Let me read a few more of these. $10 from Delay My Belay. Believing the party switch never happened is willful ignorance or grift. Petitioning Wick to start a panel to end this easily disprovable talking point. Well, people, if you want to find some guests for me and I'll host it, why not? $20 from Odashara. Can you ask Gibbs, why do cardiologists, nephrologists, and oncologists exist if all disease involves people that doctors can interact with?
I mean, in the words of Parallax, do you think I've talked to a cardiologist recently? I mean, just say it. That's a joke. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
$50 from Delay My Belay to just say done. Thank you for the $50. Yes, true. Really appreciate it. That brings us over the 1,000 mark for tonight. That's a beautiful, beautiful number that we love. $5 from My Listening Library to say Trump was reelected and is on a run to completely shift national and local election processes. January 6th didn't fail. It just took longer to solidify.
True.
$5 from Hurting Unit. This is my first time watching, and it's great. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Michael Hatch Tube for $5. There's 67 more dollars to go. Fair enough. $5 from Warren Berger. Comic looks bad. It's fishy. Just gave me $1. Mr. Poderator. Gibbs told me a few months ago that he'd lost a lot of weight. I'm glad to see he found it back.
Word.
True story. I think I don't know when Destiny debated, October maybe. I'm down 60 pounds since then. You can't see it all, but we're a big old boy. We had a lot of weight to lose, so I'm pretty pleased about it. Thank you for noticing.
You know, it's
not
good
noticing
that you lost weight. If you lost weight.
Yeah.
$20 from K from YT from YouTube. These MAGA clowns make Jesse Lee Peterson sound like a nuclear physicist. Okay. $2 from Bangarang. The real Gibbs and NCIS would hate this one. I don't watch that show. Michael Hatch Tube for $5. Wick TV. Oh, this is something for later. Color Online, $5. Damn, Wick, be glad I like you and stupid enough to pay you another $5 to read my prior two $10 super chats. Wubba lubba dub dub. Okay. Montana Flower Farmer for $10. If the Trump buds learned that by improving material conditions in impoverished countries, USAID had a positive impact on reducing immigration to the U.S., would they support that aid?
So the question is if they would reduce immigration. Listen, yes. I'm very pro immigration reform. I just want a secure border. But secondly, I think it depends, right? I'm going to use the screwworm example again because it's one I'm intimately familiar with, right? So we had USAID funding going to do the prevention of the screwworm and tracking of it through the Darien Gap, which was broken, I believe, in 2003 and reached Mexico in 2004. Not 2004, 2024, 2023, right? Okay, excuse me. Misspoke there, right? So why would you keep funding something that's clearly failed right now and not allocate the funding to something else in a more efficient manner? Part of this, right? Part of the reason why the screwworm is able to travel, and I'm going to say it, and people are going to immediately go racist.
Can you answer the question that the guy asked?
Right. I'm about to answer. This goes to the immigration thing. Is the mass migration, right? So we're seeing USAID funding go into something that's funding increased migration, right? And we're causing them bringing up the screwworm, right? Because with pets, animals, all these other people, we see the cartel using illegal cattle, right? And so this is also a failure of USAID funding and its program. And when I look at this, I go, why would we keep funding this? Now, if somehow USAID was funding programs to stop the immigration, maybe. But so far, it looks like it was encouraging it based off all the things I've seen. So evidence-wise.
Mackie Hilden for $5. Oh, so Mr. B thinks Dems are needed to hold the GOP responsible for their failures? He should commit to electing Democrats then. $20 from Bad Company. Gibbs said drastic immediate changes can benefit us in the long run despite immediate harm when Deb brought up wasted food and starving kids. Did he give Biden that same charity on the Afghan pullout?
I mean, I think the Afghan pullout was a failure because the people we were fighting got all the tech. I'm not so upset about whatever the humanitarian access to it was. I think it was bad to leave people there just overall, but that's I think my critique of Biden's pullout's not what he thinks it is.
Okay, Swamalani to say for $5 says this guy shows up to a debate doing no research. Where's the fraud? It's there. Where's the waste? It's there. No examples at all. Embarrassing. We can't even get Republicans to fund school lunches. $10 from Brown Moore. Wick TV, please, you asked Dragon Fist, why can't you answer a question without rambling or filibustering, and how many lies are you going to spew? I'll DM him and see. We're almost done. Don't worry. $10 from Moto Freak. Here's $10 just for the yet another optical sewer slide live on stream. DGGL. Well, thank you for the $10. $5 from Lieutenant Quattro. To Dragon Knuckles, how would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning? Well, he's not here to answer. $10 from Michael Hatch on YouTube. As a percentage of GDP, how high of a debt ratio amounts to existential threat for modern industrialized nations? For example, the USA is at 120%. Japan is at 236%, and France is 113%. Source, the IMF. Do you want to take a crack at it, gang? What is too high of a debt as a percentage of GDP?
I would just look at historical norms for that, I guess, for the United States and try to keep it within there. I don't know if there's an actual agreed upon number for.
I don't know.
It's a good researchable question.
Yeah. $5 from William Judd. Saying that we need to cut USAID to address the U.S. debt while supporting Trump's tax cuts is hypocritical. Saying that it's whataboutism is ludicrous. True. $5 from Sam Greenwood. A direct example of how cutting USAID hurts America is the current Ebola outbreak in Congo and Uganda, already in Europe, risking spreading to America. And then $5 from Night. Why is it when She's Right is wrecking these cats, they start addressing Tiny?
True.
You want to take a crack at that one? She's Right.
Cowardice, usually. It's not uncommon for that to happen. Leftists do it too, as well. There's this weird phenomenon whenever anyone in this broader space wants to have an argument, they start imagining they're shadowboxing Stephen. It's weird. It's creepy. I don't know why that's the case. It shouldn't be. No offense, dude. You're not that important.
Wow.
Yeah.
Base, I guess. $5 from No Flame, please. If these clowns think USAID is going to our enemies and DI makes the country weaker, then why would they be against pushing